It's time for Twig This Week in Google. Jeff Jarvis is here, Stacey Higginbotham, Aunt Pruitt. Lots to talk about. Instagram, is it bad for young ladies and other living things? The secrets of the TikTok stars and a smart wheelchair. There's a whole lot more coming up next on Twig.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
This is Twig. This Week in Google, episode 629, recorded Wednesday, September 15th, 2021. Tastes like Pikachu. This Week in Google is brought to you by Nareva. Nareva is revolutionizing audio for meeting and learning spaces by making it possible to get full-room microphone coverage in medium to large spaces without the cost and complexity of multi-component Pro AV solutions. And that's a revolution. Learn more at nareva.com/twit. And by CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike harnesses the power of every click, every action, and every ally to grow stronger and stop cyber threats before they can stop you. Join the fight and experience the power of Falcon platform free today at crowdstrike.com/twit. And by Wealthfront. To get your first $5,000 managed free for life, go to wealthfront.com/twig and start growing your savings today. It's time for Twig. This Week in Google, the show where we cover the latest news from the Googleverse, the Facebookverse, the Twitterverse, and anything else that's verse. Stacey Higginbotham is here from Stacey on IoT. She covers the IoT-verse. Hello, Stacey.
Hello, y'all.
Hey, what is on your sweater? That looks perky and bright.
They're like
just
Frida
diamonds?
Kahlo robots.
Oh.
No, they're robots. I'm trying to.
Robot shirt.
I think they're robots.
I like it. Oh, it's so cute. It's a robot.
And it's for the season.
Yeah.
It is. It's a Halloween robot. Very nice.
It's a welcome to fall robot.
Yay. Stacey hosts the IoT podcast with Kevin Toffel. Her website is staceyoniot.com. Event coming up on RF. That's how geeky she is. A whole hour
geeky.
Talking RF.
It's going to be awesome.
Okay.
Next Tuesday.
Oh, it's soon.
Yeah.
And all of her events are free, so you can go to Stacey on IoT and sign up for it right now. Click the events tab right at the top there. And
It's Kevin.
what you need to know about RF sensing. Yeah, wait a minute. Now I got to go back to the front page. Why do I see Kevin?
If you click on the story, you'll see the photo I didn't put is the top photo in the story. And I was like, Kevin, I don't think I can.
He's
put this
running.
photo.
Oh, Lord. He's wearing a smart vest with bulky attachment for the smarts. If you ever want to borrow Aunt Pruitt for posing. Actually,
Glam geek.
Kevin
No,
looks
Kevin
good.
looks fine.
geek.
I just was like, I just don't. That's not what I want on my site.
It's a little boy band. It's a little, yeah.
Yeah, it's our version of the Met Gala. Just think of it that way.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Before we get to the Met Gala, I better introduce this guy right here. Jeff Jarvis is the director of the Town Heights Center for Entrepreneurial Journalism at the Newmark Graduate School of Journalism at the University of New York. If you're just joining us, there's no explanation.
Once you've said Craig Newmark, there's nothing else need be said.
Nothing else need be said. A number of people, when Craig was on a couple of weeks ago, said, why was that guy floating above you on the show? Who was that? It's the Craig Newmark of Craigslist. That's all you have to say. And
there was a great tweet the other day where somebody just came on and said, I'm staying up all night wondering whether Craigslist was started by a guy named Craig. And Craig, of course, retweeted it and said, same here.
Craig, as we learned, is working on his material. He's working with an actual comedian. And he's actually very dryly funny, and that's the problem.
Very dry.
He's so dry you don't know he's joking, and then you go, "Oh, that was funny."
Craig's a martini,
He's a martini
with no gin or no vermouth.
He's vermouthless. That is hands-on photography host Aunt Pruitt, all the way over to our left here. Aunt is, of course, the not only the host of Hands-On Photography, but he's also the community manager in our Club Twit. And we really appreciate the job he's doing. Great AMA with Micah Sargent. Do you have something come up this week?
Not this week, but next week, the 24th, right after This Week in Enterprise Tech.
I believe me and a loved one.
Nope.
Nope.
That's not next week.
Oh, do you want to talk?
Next week
we're going to have fun. Game night. Yeah.
Next week we're going to do game time. So
yeah.
if you're in Club Twit,
what are y'all playing?
You'll be able to sit down. We're going to play Jackbox games and just shoot the.
You're welcome to join, Stacey.
If you will.
What are Jackbox games?
They're funny little off the wall games that you can play online with a group of people as long as you have a computer.
You remember You Don't Know
and
Jack, the game You Don't Know Jack? It was basically Trivial Pursuit.
Oh, okay.
So
there's a bunch of different
branched off
variations.
from You Don't Know Jack to the Jackbox, which is a bunch of kind of,
I'll check it out. When are y'all doing this?
This will be after Twiat on Friday, September 24th, I believe, roughly 3 p.m. Because, sometimes Twiat goes a little bit longer.
And you would love it, by the way. You Stacey, you would be so good. You do tabletop gaming, I bet you.
I do.
Yeah,
and
I
I
would
do
not be
trivia. But
surprised.
it is, I will tell you, it is Fika, but we'll see.
Wait, what?
I can make it
She
work.
has a thing she does with her daughter.
Oh.
What is it, Friday?
It's Friday Fika. Fika is a Swedish tradition. Around 3 o'clock or so, you have a coffee and a small cake, cinnamon roll.
Speaking of small cakes,
pastry.
It's a day I learned.
I got to thank Clarence Christian. We were talking on Mac Break Weekly about this season is apple cider donut season, right, Jeff?
Mm-hmm.
You know about that, yeah?
Yeah. I'm here in Apple.
Yeah.
land.
So Clarence, we were talking about it. Clarence sent me some apple cider donuts from Stand Donuts and Coffee in
Come on.
in Los Angeles.
Are
and
you going to
Chicago.
share?
Yeah, I'll share.
Come on.
So this is the best thing about work from home. We sent all the employees home. They came yesterday.
They're all yours.
And they're still here. I got plenty. They're really good. So thank you, Clarence. I appreciate it. These are really
Outstanding.
You could tell. They smell like apple. They're like apple fritters.
Aren't you glad you're not on that stupid diet anymore?
The keto thing?
Yeah.
I have mixed feelings about it. I've had 3 of these so far. Maybe not so good, but that's not all. It was a big haul. All of this stuff came in the mail yesterday. Here's an email from Marco Gentile. I hope I'm saying your name right. That's how I would say it. Marco Gentile. In your last Twig episode, the subject of bucatini pasta came up. So
Did you get bucatini? I'm going to be so mad.
I couldn't resist, but pull this package of, now remember his name, Marco Gentile? Gentile bucatini pasta.
Unbelievable.
He says his great-grandfather started the pasta factory. Unfortunately, it's no longer in the family, but the tradition is carried on. His father emigrated from Sorrento in 1955 after marrying his mother. He was born just down the road in San Rafael in 1956, so it's the same age as me. He says, well, there's more, but he says he wants more right-wing people on the show. But if you that's okay. I'm really open to the bribe. pastificciogentile.com. Pastificio. Pastificio Gentile. Gintile.com.
That's awesome.
Actual bucatini from Italy, from Napoli. Thank you. But that's not all. There's one more thing came yesterday.
Oh, my.
And actually, Ant, you might recognize this snowflake. I'm very excited.
Look like Mr. Doncom?
Yeah, and not only that, look at this. It comes with my very own
Anaglyphs?
anaglyphic blue-green, red-green glasses for 3D viewing.
Yes. He sent you a book.
This is his new, I think, the new book that you were plugging, right? Macro photography.
Universe at your feet, right?
Universe at your feet.
Yes.
I'm
so
so
beautiful.
excited. So thank you very much, Don Kamarechka. He's famous for these snowflake pictures. You've had him on Hands on Photography, but he's also the king of macro, which is good timing because Apple, I don't know if this counts, but Apple just announced macro capability in its new iPhones yesterday.
That's great
Look at
news.
this. Look at this
when they
picture.
announced that.
Look at that. Look at that ant.
This dude is so
There's
damn
an ant
good.
for ant. So
Doncom is
thank
really,
you, Don
really good.
Kamarechka. Thank you, Clarence, for the donuts. Thank you, Marco, for the pasta.
I'm so jealous.
You got a nice haul there today.
That's why I like work from home, because it's just me and my treats.
I was thinking about having Taco Bell chicken taco sandwiches delivered to you today. I didn't know if I opened the door.
No. It's okay. We have Wednesday is gas station sushi day, so that's a time-honored tradition. I'm going to eat it till it kills me, and it might kill me at any moment. Facebook.
The surprise.
Facebook says, actually, Facebook doesn't say it. The Wall Street Journal says it, so maybe this is suspect. They say Facebook has known that Instagram is toxic for teens, but didn't do anything about it. Company documents show its own in-depth research, a significant teen mental health issue that Facebook plays down in public. I guess I probably should go to you, Mr. Moral Panic. Anything to say about this?
It's what I always say in this case. We need more data out of them, and they're foolish not to get it out, so we know. And that's why we get leaks like this. What I read from people about this is that from the researchers, that researchers I know people inside Facebook who try to bring these things out and try to improve them and try to fix them and know what's going on, and then they get stopped by politics and economy. And that's the disturbing part of this. That's the difficult part. But from a research perspective, every researcher I've seen just is dying to get their hands on this kind of data so we can know. I as some people hate anything Facebook does, I'm rather the same way about Rupert Murdoch. So I do come to it with suspicion from the journal perspective, but that doesn't mean that there isn't something here.
It looks like there's some worrisome. It looks like there's some good journalism, and they have some deep sources. So now I have to point out that
specify something.
Yeah, go ahead.
This isn't Facebook, the site. This is Instagram.
Instagram, yes.
Facebook's owned.
Very important.
Facebook's owned Instagram. Yes. And I should point out that magazines have done this to young girls, particularly, but women in general, for years. This is nothing.
Yeah, my wife's reaction is that, Facebook didn't invent 8th grade girls being awful to each other.
But it did invent showing them these photos all the time. So here's former teen girl, current parent of a teen girl.
Yep.
Yeah, you have such a wide variety. And I will say, okay, I had an eating disorder. It is not solely because you look at pictures. It is a function of anxiety, is a function of trying to control your life. I will say that the internet and social media has made it very difficult for girls in particular. There is so much research. It's not solely related to Instagram or Facebook about how unhealthy these things can be for them. It'd be really interesting to look at it in the context of the pandemic, because they've lost their true social outlet. Now it's just online.
They don't see normal girls at all anymore. Yeah.
Stacey, can I just say something for a second?
An easy way to point the finger at Instagram, because they are so big and make it so accessible. This content.
They can make it worse.
But it's also, I do think magazine editors, when you told them, magazine editors came out and started working on things like body positivity. Yes, it took time, but they listened. They talked about photoshopping. There was a huge backlash that in response to the research that people were doing, showing how it affected young girls, right? Instagram and Facebook are not willing to say, oh, this is true. And honestly, I don't know if it's because it's kind of a misogynistic culture there that just doesn't care. I mean, they're clearly not focused on the well-being of people on the platform, right? But I mean, there is a benefit to a bunch of unhappy girls spending a lot of time wanting to be something else and spending that time visualizing that through their platform.
What would be even worse is if they were using it to advertise to those girls things like, diet supplements and exercise plans and other products designed to play into that, which I wouldn't be at all surprised that they are. I think Facebook, and by the way, I completely defer to Stacey on this. She's a mother. She's a woman, first of all, and she's the mother of a young girl. So she is the expert on this. I would say Facebook is an order of magnitude difference from a magazine, or not Facebook, but Instagram. Facebook too, but Instagram. When you're looking at Instagram, you're looking at people you think are like you. you would think in your mind they're your peers. And when you see them in beautiful environments and having a great time,
parties and friends,
and they look great and they have chiseled abs and all of that stuff, I think it's worse than seeing a star, a celebrity in a magazine. I think it's really even worse.
And they are your
those are the
friends.
same stars from the magazines.
Let's Stacey, go ahead.
Oh no, but on Instagram, a lot of these girls are following their friends or their friends of friends, and they're following their boyfriend liked a girl in a bikini, and so they got to follow that girl because who the heck is that?
Yeah,
that's a good point. It may even be your friends, even if there's this. So, I mean, the evidence. According to this research, 32% of teen girls said, and this is interesting, when they felt bad about their bodies, they already felt that way, to your point, Stacey. Instagram made them feel worse.
Yeah.
The real issue is among teens who reported suicidal thoughts, 13% of British users, 6% of American users traced the desire to kill themselves to Instagram. That's really serious. You know, feeling bad about how you look or feeling bad about your body, maybe, you know, eating disorders are one thing, but suicide's another. That's a permanent.
Yeah. Well, in suicide, I mean, there's so much research already out there about how, like, if someone kills themselves in a school, others will tend to do that. It's epidemic. Yep. So when your community is online, it's wider reaching, but they still feel like your community. And that can be a real problem. Just like, oh, well, this person, you know, did it. And they get the attention, they get the outpouring of grief. They probably, if you're suicidal too, they ended the pain that you don't see an end to. So there's
these numbers from Wall Street Journal. I have no reason not to believe them. 40% of Instagram's users are 22 years old and younger. 22 million teens log into Instagram every day compared to 5 million on Facebook. Facebook is, of course, losing young people. Right. But Instagram is where many of them have gone. Teens in the U.S. spend 50% more times on Instagram than they do on Facebook. So that's why we're really focused on Instagram in this case.
You know, I look at this stuff and the first thing that comes to my mind is where are the parents when it comes to these different influences out there. I know what Instagram is doing or has allegedly done is pretty craptastic in feeding this content out there when they have all of the control of the algorithm. They're feeding the stuff out there that's going to get the likes and the activity and keep people on the platform because that's their job. That's where they make their money, you know. But at the same time, where is mom, dad, or uncle or whomever to say, hey, you know that none of that's real, right? That person is totally faking. So love you for who you are. You know, why doesn't that get talked about?
So, and first, I want to thank Stacey very sincerely here for sharing. Nothing, you know, makes us expect you to do that, and for you to have just shared that, I think is generous because it tells people that they're not alone, and that there is a beyond, and I think that's critical. And I don't want to. I don't want to invade the privacy of my own loved ones, but in some response to you, Ant, as Stacey just said, it's bigger than one cause. It's not caused by that. It can be made worse, but there's so much pressure. What we're doing to our children today, in the anxiety is raised. It's been raised for some time, and look at things like the college entrance scandal. Look at the testing and what we do to people. Look at all kinds of measures of trying to perform, whether it's socially, athletically, academically, collegially, whatever it is. The pressure we're putting our kids under these days is awful, and they're cracking under it. And we can't look at one cause. You're right. Parents have responsibility here, but even if you took away their phone tomorrow, those anxieties and those pressures are there. Now, again, I'm going to emphasize, I agree that Facebook making it worse, Instagram making it worse is something we got to look at. And I put a thread up from a researcher. The researchers, let's put the researchers I respect here, Isabel, I'm forgetting her name, Gerard, I think her name is, saying we can't invent interventions. We can't figure out what to do about this unless we have the data to make suggestions. And to me, that's the real scandal here, is that we can't get the data out of these companies because they are scared, because they're going to show some things that are bad, but they've got to, the government's going to come after them to get it. So they've got to figure out how to get researchers involved so we can try to understand the full impact, so we can try to create appropriate interventions. And now that's nigh unto impossible.
Facebook, when asked by the Senate to hand over some of this information, they told the senators that its internal research is proprietary and, quote, kept confidential to promote frank and open dialogue and brainstorming internally. This was in response to Richard Blumenthal and Marsha Blackburn in a letter they sent to Mark Zuckerberg some months ago. Blumenthal said Facebook's answers were so evasive, failing to even respond to all our questions. They really raised questions about what Facebook might be hiding.
Yeah.
Mosseri, who's the head, Adam Mosseri, who's the head of Instagram, says we don't send research out to regulators on a regular basis for a number of reasons. But he added Facebook should figure out a way to share high-level overviews of what the company is learning, and wanted to give external researchers access to Facebook's data. We know how that went with another set of data. We talked about that.
Well, the privacy regulations did get in the way.
Sure. This is I completely understand. Troubling for parents, troubling for everybody. I've always seen this as a problem in social media in general, is that people always show the best slice of their life. And
as in media.
Yeah, and I spend a lot of time counseling my own kids who've grown up with social media, counseling them not to compare their insides with other people's outsides, because you're not seeing that's apples to oranges. You're not seeing the troubles those people have. Go ahead, Stacey.
Oh, I was going to they also cater to a community. So a lot of these, what happens is you become known for something, and then that becomes your personality. Like you hear all the kids, they're like, okay, liking pumpkin spice lattes is not your whole personality, right? But it does. And it's because they're driving after a demographic that, like, if it's on TikTok, it's a certain demographic. If it's on Instagram, it's this set of people, right? This hashtag. So then you're not only curating, you're not necessarily curating your best self, you're curating the self that gets you the attention you think you want. And I think that's a really important thing here, because being beautiful and skinny gets you a lot of attention. Being sad and suicidal gets you attention.
Yeah.
So in some sense, you become this, what you're trying, not what you're trying to, you're rewarded for becoming more this.
Personality. It's about the presentation, not about you.
And then I would also say, just because I think this is an important thing, and also I'm a parent, so I'm sensitive, and you too, Aunt. Kids at this age, you can say we're the parents, but you can only do so much. And I talk to my daughter, for example, and I'm sure you talk to your sons, but it's developmentally appropriate that they're going to lie to you and do other things, right? You want them to do that. At
some point, the control is in their hands.
After sixth grade, research has shown this consistently. After sixth grade, I know this, I've read the research, peers have a much larger influence on kids than their family.
Yeah,
their peer group is everything, and your peer group suddenly now has expanded with this kind of social media to a friends of friends of friends of friends. It's a much larger group. That's your peer.
So I mean, I'm not saying that you shouldn't talk to your kids, and you totally should, and you could try to ban Instagram, although so many social interactions now happen through that, and like. So like if you don't get invited to the parties, or
yeah, I don't know what the answer is. I agree with it's very tough. I don't think parents can immunize kids against this very effectively. I do not
but
think.
I do think companies have a role. Like, I do think if Mark Zuckerberg actually gave two flips about this, and maybe he will when his kids grow up, I don't know, then, you know, there are things that you can do. And, you know, you even see this at, like, I know on TikTok, they're like, this is a professional person doing this. I don't know if that has any sort of influence, but they're trying to set some things. And I think it's important to be proactive. And they're most assuredly not proactive about any of the potential harms of any of their platforms. Okay, that's all.
Well, Stacey, I think that there are people. This is what troubles me most. There are people inside. And this is what this reveals. There were people inside who were studying this, who were saying that there are issues, who were trying to use what the data they had and the information they had, who did know things, and it stopped. You know, there's some cases where they don't know. And then we really don't know what influence Facebook had on the election of Donald Trump, I think. But in this case, we see from this that people knew something and tried to do something, and it's the fact that it stopped that troubles me most about the company.
And so at the very least, I think we can all agree that Facebook needs to start handing this research over to researchers. That other eyes need to see this. And you know, of course, the other story that has been widely reported is that Facebook sent misinformation to researchers on misinformation. they misinformed them about the data set, about where it came from.
I'm getting a headache.
So Facebook is clearly wrong about how it's handling this stuff. They need to start being more open about that stuff. And if they don't do it themselves, somebody needs to make them do it, because that's problematic.
That was my question. I was going to ask if they send this information over to third-party researchers, and these third-party researchers come up with all of this analysis and says, hey, this needs to be done, that needs to be done, so on and so forth. Facebook and Instagram says, hey, this is our company. We want to run this the way we want to. You know, we're sorry, but we want to run this the way we want to. What's the next step?
Well, I don't know what the next step. The first step is that they need to hand the data over. They haven't even done that yet. And at that point, I think Facebook should want this input. They should want to share this information with experts in the field, and then find out. And you know, if Facebook doesn't act, then there's other steps. But step one is Facebook needs to enlist some expertise outside of Facebook.
And this is the essence of the Transatlantic High-Level Working Group on Content Moderation, Freedom of Expression, of which I was a part, was just this. That and to my mind, it starts with the company saying, here's how we'll be judged. We warrant with government, we will hand over data to researchers. We will do it in a way that protects privacy and have an agreement to do that. And you can hold us accountable then. That's the process. Rather than one size fits all regulation of saying, get rid of all the bad stuff, you're ruining society. That's not helpful.
But that's true of everybody.
What's helpful here is to try to understand what's going on.
The New York Times should do that. They had for a while, they had a really good ombudsman, and then they got rid of the position. Everybody who is in the public eye has a responsibility to be open, so that, so they can be regulated if we have to, but more, you know, to the point, at least in the short term, so that we can all agree on making this a better, safer place for the most vulnerable people among us. And that's, you know, we don't want to have children feeling terrible about them, growing up feeling terrible about themselves because some company doesn't want to do anything about it. That's not okay. And that would be a good reason to regulate big tech. On the other hand, I will channel Jeff Jarvis. Actually, Adam Mosseri is channeling you, saying, but we do a lot of good things, and it is absolutely true. And
so release that too, right?
Yeah. So are we going to talk about the Met costume?
Let's talk about it's a. So this is actually a really interesting point.
Speaking of Adam,
the Met Gala, which used to be a fundraiser, it still is a fundraiser for the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City.
For the costume section thereof.
For the Costume
Institute.
Institute.
They have a great costume institute. It's amazing.
They really do.
And it became a very big socialite event where you'd have the biggest celebrities and socialites wearing amazing and crazy outfits, and they would go to be photographed. Apparently, Instagram now at least is a partial. What is the deal? What is Instagram's relationship to this now?
Aren't they a co-sponsor? Co-host? What is the word for They gave a lot of money.
And they changed
Underwriter.
They changed it a lot.
Like sponsor.
Because fashion's biggest night out suddenly became influencers' biggest night out. And
they had actually been inviting, so this was actually a thing, but they had inviting influencers for quite some time. But what happened is, and I'm trying to find the relationship, the formal name of it.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it too.
Oh, they're an official sponsor of the event. Now but Anna Wintour and her peeps have been for the last 5 or 6 years inviting various influencers to the Met Gala. Now, their live coverage has, they have some Instagram-esque, photo opportunities and things like that. And there'll be like certain Instagram accounts that were doing stuff for it. But
I think there were, I think it was mostly the society matrons who weren't happy that who is that?
I just put up under line 129. 129 is Instagram's table at the event. See how many names we recognize.
So, yeah, I mean, whether we recognize them probably doesn't matter much, Jeff, because we aren't exactly.
We're old farts.
Yeah, we're not exactly.
I'm not
hip
an old
with
fart,
the kids.
but I couldn't tell you the first thing.
You're not going to know.
Lil Nas X was there for the first time.
That we know. That one I know. Yes.
Heard of him. I've heard of him.
Megan Thee Stallion.
Megan Thee Stallion.
Jordan Alexander.
Yeah.
Saweetie.
Saweetie. Saweetie. Let's hear. So let's see. Here's Saweetie. All right. She's a rapper, isn't she? Singer. Yeah. Okay. So there's going to be some. Yeah. All right.
Brooklyn Beckham. So she's Victoria Beckham, and she's always been there. And David Beckham's daughter.
They were wearing Cudi. Valentino. Kid Cudi wearing Valentino. Lil Baby wearing Coach.
Wasn't he canceled?
Yes, that I do know. I don't know much about.
See,
canceled by what?
He got up and had a homophobic rant.
Oh, bye, Lil Baby. How about Simu Liu wearing Fendi for men? Yeah, Evan Mock wearing Tom Brown.
I know Evan Mock.
Natalia Bryant wearing Connor Ive. Denise, or is it Denise? Rick Owens. Paloma Alcesser wearing Zach Posen. Jordan Alexander, Christopher John Rogers. Precious Lee, I love that name. I know Precious. She's an actress.
She's one of the top. No, this is Precious. She's one of the top models for plus size models. I believe.
This is not for us anyway. Adam Mosseri wearing Bodhi was at the table.
I feel like it's for me.
Yeah, it's for you. Wait a minute.
I think we should have done a test.
The Met Gala's for you.
Shown Stacey the picture and had her identify the people.
The Met Gala's for you, or
I love the Met Gala. I love fashion.
Yeah. If you love fashion, it's great because people wear also crazy stuff. This is actually very tame.
This year was very boring.
Yeah,
very disappointing.
Extremely tame.
And the Instagram peeps, most of this table was not very exciting.
Boring.
I have no problem with fashion. Fashion is pretty fascinating. I think I've talked about before how I enjoyed the Halston docuseries.
Yeah, wasn't that good? I loved that.
Fashion is fascinating, but this whole Met Gala thing, I knew nothing about it until about 24 hours ago.
Oh, well, if you'd been here last year and the year before, it was a big thing for us.
Stacey loves it.
I think thanks to, I think fashion's
2 years ago
become much more accessible. High fashion become much more accessible to people, partly because of things like Halston, but also because of all the reality shows.
Okay.
The
Kardashians
Project Runway. No, like Project Runway. And I mean, I think it's much more accessible than it used to be. Maybe not.
Well,
it is a display.
There's a big.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Go ahead, Jeff.
No, I was going to be grouchy. Go ahead, Stacey.
Okay, go ahead, Stacey. No grouches allowed.
I was going to say either in 2018 or 2017, technology was actually a theme for the Met Gala. So they had
I remember that. Yes.
Cool stuff. But the other thing
that's probably when we started covering it, actually.
I was going to say that's probably when we cared about it.
Here's Timothy Chalamet wearing a lovely satin jacket. I don't know who that's by. If I knew, I would tell you. It's kind of fun. It's like the Academy Awards red carpet. only with.
Well, no, it's supposed to be better because the Academy Awards red carpet has honestly all turned into prom. So very boring. Yeah. But what's interesting is with like COVID and recessions, you can actually see the haute couture shows, so like the runway shows, their creations become more wearable. So New York Fashion Week was just this last week, and all of their stuff was super commercial. I mean, super boring. So Met was actually our only chance to be like crazy stuff, and it really didn't deliver. That's all. Okay.
A little more flamboyance.
Oh, here's some flamboyance. There you go. You're right. Stacey, it could have been more interesting this year. This was not. You know where the really interesting fashion was this year, and I can't believe we're talking about this? MTV's Video Music Awards, the VMAs, had some wild fashion.
That still goes on, huh? VMAs?
Oh, Aunt.
See, I wrote that stuff off years ago.
Actually, the VMAs were fun this year. They're fun every year.
I am sadly in some sort of a bubble.
You're good. You're getting old, Aunt. It's okay. It happens to the best of us.
Uncle Aunt. Your Uncle Aunt.
Oldish.
I don't know how we started covering this, but
we can talk about Google now. That's fine.
Well, let us just note that all the people who worked there had to wear masks, but the stars did, in their display of ostentation, did not.
Well, was it just for their photographs, or did they have to?
No. I think all around.
Broadway's
you had to be
open.
vaccinated in order to go.
Oh, well,
I do know that.
Broadway's open. There's this we're in this weird kind of intermediate stage where half the country's vaccinated and says it's over, and the other half of the country's in ICU with ventilators, and it's very.
Actually, no, they're the ones who are saying it's over. The ones who aren't getting vaccinated. And that's why we're in the problem we're in.
It's very confusing, and I don't know what to do.
Mandates.
Yeah. Let's take a break. When we come back, the Ig Nobel Prize are out, and the best scientific research of the year. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. I can't resist just going through a few of these. First, a word though from our sponsor, Nareva. Love these guys. As you come back to work, and you're wondering, what do we do in our huddle room, in our conference room, in our classroom? I've always said pictures are fine, but audio is key. So when you're on a Zoom or a Skype or a Teams or a meeting, it's so important you have good audio, and that's why Nareva is such a great solution. There are plenty of simple, plug-and-play audio solutions for huddle rooms, but getting full room mic coverage, especially in a bigger room, a mid-size or large meeting or a classroom, a learning space, has traditionally meant making a big leap into the complexity and cost of Pro AV solutions. But Nareva is changing all that, simplifying almost every aspect of audio conferencing. So there's two ways you can go to get quality audio in a larger space. You go to get a Pro AV system. Multiple components, multiple microphones, speakers installed in the ceiling, spread across the table. Of course, they all have to have cables. You got to have technicians come in, not just to install it, but to calibrate the system and sometimes recalibrate it. It'll take days to install and cost tens of thousands of dollars per room for the purchase and the installation. Or then there's a better way. Nareva Audio. Exceptional audio for rooms as up to 25 to 25 feet with one integrated microphone and speaker bar, 2 bars, 30 by 50 feet. You don't have to bring somebody in to install it. It's a DIY project. If you can mount a sound bar, you can put up a Nareva system. It'll take you 30 minutes to install each device in the wall, 2 screws, 1 cable, of course, a fraction of the price of AV systems, no calibration, and it gives you and your users can act completely naturally. They can face any way. They can socially distance. They can do what makes them comfortable, but you still get great audio. And it really comes down to Nareva's microphone mist technology. Instead of using expensive beam-forming microphones where the person, the caller, the talker has to stay right in that one spot, you can't turn, you can't face away. And of course, if you rearrange your room, you have to recalibrate. Not Nareva's microphone mist technology. This is where software, it really is computational audio, really makes a difference. True full room coverage, no matter where you move, no matter which way you face. It's like putting thousands of microphones in the room so that everybody can be heard. And it continuously auto-calibrates without any intervention on your part. Their microphone mist technology is patented. It's incredible. It's a no-touch design. You don't have to wipe down microphones. It's really incredible. Nareva Console is a simple, intuitive platform that lets you easily monitor, manage, adjust, and scale your fleet of systems from anywhere. No training required. The question is, which approach will you choose? Learn more at nareva.com/twit. That's NUREVA.com/twit. Perfect for the conference room in this new era, this new socially distanced era. Nareva.com/twit. Thank you, Nareva, for your support. And thank you for supporting This Week in Google by going to that special address, nareva.com/twit. Not twig, but twit, TWIT. The Ig Nobel Prizes are out. You know about the Ig Nobel Prizes, right? Every year, it's the 31st annual Ig Nobel Prize was last week. Each winner, a real scientific project.
And let us say, just to start off with, I love it too. Some of these projects do have a purpose in life, and we make fun of science. These days, we shouldn't be making, I put it on the list, so I'm okay with this, but let's be careful making too much fun of science, since science is going to save our damn lives. But having said that, let's have a good laugh.
Look, we all love science here. Everybody's, look, it's a tech. Look, if you're into technology, you have to love science. Technology is just science applied. You can't have one without the other. So nobody's knocking science here. But sometimes, for various reasons, people study interesting things, like for the biology prize. And this goes to Sweden for analyzing variations in purring, chirping, chattering, trilling, tweedling, murmuring, meowing, moaning, squeaking, hissing, yowling, howling, growling, and other modes of cat-human communication. The paper.
Well, we do want to understand what our cats are saying. I think it's perfectly useful.
Yeah,
perfectly.
The paper in the Proceedings of Phonetic 2011, Speech, Music and Hearing, KTH Stockholm, a comparative acoustic analysis of purring in 4 cats. And then they succeeded it with the phonetic pilot study of vocalizations in 3 cats the following year. In 2013, they did the phonetic pilot study of chirp, chatter, tweet, and tweedle in 3 domestic cats. In 2014, this is their life work. I don't want to knock it. A study of human perception in intonation in domestic cat meows. And of course, I think the reason Suzanne Schutz just took this award away, her seminal work in 2016, Melody in Human Cat Communications, which she calls Meowsic.
Oh, dear.
Okay.
You can't read that with a straight face.
Okay.
You can't.
No. In the Ecology Prize, it goes to Spain and Iran for a joint study using genetic analysis to identify the different species of bacteria that reside in wads of discarded chewing gum stuck on pavements. And here's where they really get the award: in various countries. They were not content.
It's international in scope.
They were not content to stop with just one country. They want to do various countries. Chemistry Prize goes to a large number of researchers all over the world: Germany, UK, New Zealand, Greece, Cyprus, and Austria. This was really an amazing study. They tested, chemically analyzed, in fact, the air inside movie theaters to test whether the odors produced by an audience could reliably indicate the level of violence, sex, antisocial behavior, drug use, and bad language in the movie that audience is watching. They call it cinema data mining. The smell of fear. And actually what they're hoping, because they're ambitious scientists, they're hoping that they can use the analysis of human volatile organic compounds as a tool for age classification of films. This film smells too adult for you.
Wait, what?
It's just the research. I can only go with the research. Economics Prize. Go ahead.
This one I like, the Economics Prize.
I'm just not going.
There's nothing to say. Nothing to say. It's good work. In the economics prize, I think this might be too intuitive, right, Jeff? I think
I liked it. I liked it because you got to take. There aren't really filter bubbles when you do the research to discover this.
You got to do the research.
You have this presumption. You have this impression, but it's worth doing the research to see whether it's true or not.
The economics prize goes to Pavlo Blavatsky for his research in discovering that the obesity of a country's politicians may be a good indicator of that country's corruption. Fat politicians.
Fat cats.
Yep.
Fat
yep.
mewing cats.
You got a hypothesis. You got to test it. You can't just say, well, that's obvious. Can sex improve nasal function and exploration of the link? Well,
I can get rid of my CPAP.
They're trying to demonstrate that sexual orgasms can be as effective as decongestant medicines at improving breathing. I'd like to participate in that research.
I don't want to see that research, though.
I'd like to volunteer.
No.
No, the Ig Nobel Peace Prize, of course, we keep it right here at home in the US of A, and I think rightly so. This very important research, published in the Integrative Organismal Biology, Volume 2, Number 1 for 2020, Ethan Becerra, Stephen Nalloway, and David Carrier, testing the hypothesis that humans evolved beards to protect themselves from punches to the face.
Yeah, you got a problem with that? Huh?
Actually, you know how scientists are. They like to write it.
Exactly why I grew my beard out.
They like to write it in fancy. So the title really is Impact Protection Potential of Mammalian Hair, testing the pugilism hypothesis for the evolution of human facial hair. We still don't know, by the way. We don't know why hair on the face, but not hair on the biceps or hands or something else. I don't know. You have hair everywhere. I don't know.
Palms.
Palms. Thank you. There you go. That's one place, right? No hair.
Depends.
Physics prize for research on why pedestrians do not constantly collide with other pedestrians. Kinetics prize for conducting experiments, conversely, on why pedestrians do sometimes collide with other pedestrians. Just kind of, sometimes you get these intersections.
Tourists in New York. One answer, tourists in New York going slowly.
Completely different teams. I don't know. It's weird that they both...
That's how science works.
That's how science works. The entomology prize, bugs.
This is useful. This is useful.
Bugs. New method of cockroach control on submarines. Gotta have it.
Yeah.
Gotta have it.
Dude, as someone who lived in Texas, that is applicable probably there too. Roaches were a real issue.
Now, if you read the title of this scientific paper, you may be confused about its import. This is from the Journal of Wildlife Diseases, and too many scientists to name them all, but the pulmonary and metabolic effects of suspension by the feet compared with lateral recumbency in immobilized black rhinoceroses, Diceros bicornis, captured by aerial darting. And what they're trying to figure out is it safer to transport an airborne rhinoceros upright or upside down?
I was going to say, is he on his side or is it
upside down?
What?
Upside, lateral recumbency versus suspension.
Upside down is the right way?
Suspension by the feet. Well, you know.
Yes.
What was the conclusion of this paper?
Now I've got to know, right? Let's dig into the abstract. Aerial translocation of captured black rhinoceroses has been accomplished by suspending them by their feet. We expected this posture would compromise respiratory gas exchange more than would lateral recumbency. All I can
black
see.
Rhinoceroses.
Hey, boss, how is your lateral recumbency these days?
I've been laterally recumbent for. Suspension by the feet for 10 minutes did not impair pulmonary function more than did lateral recumbency, and apparently, there they are, augmented gas exchange to a small degree relative to lateral recumbency.
So they farted?
Black rhinoceroses immobilized were not as hypermetabolic as were white rhinoceroses. See, again, they played the race card. Very disappointed. Very disappointed. Anyway, the Ig Nobel Prizes, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations to all our winners. Intuit.
I got to go back.
Go ahead.
I got to go back to the cat at the beginning. That
Tweedles.
You know, you said they've been working on it for like 15 years.
Yeah, that's what's amazing.
That's impressive considering cats don't give a
hood
crap about anybody or anything, and yet they were able to research purring and tweeting and all of that good stuff.
You know,
I can see why it took 15 years.
It's interesting because they started with 4 cats and then it was 3 cats. I don't know. I don't know if a cat dropped out. Maybe he was disqualified for marijuana use. I don't know. But
I'm pretty sure that cat was like, I got better things to do.
I'm not doing that.
Typical cat.
Intuit is buying Mailchimp, the mailing list company.
Everybody's got to have a newsletter now. It's a constitutional amendment that you're required to have a newsletter.
Let me tell you, this is apparently a very lucrative field. $12 billion.
Yeah.
For Mailchimp. $12 billion. Wow.
I pay Mailchimp.
Is that who you use for your newsletter?
It is, but it's so much more than newsletters now. It's more like a CRM kind of for
That's
customer.
probably why Intuit wants it, right? Because they do financial stuff. Yeah.
Intuit said Intuit said Mailchimp has the data. I believe in a statement, it's like they have the data. We have all of this other information. Why not just put it all together?
Oh, that's always scary when they say it's about that.
They said it openly.
Yeah, they did. This is Intuit CEO Sasan Goudzari. Mailchimp has, quote, a lot of customer data. We have all the purchase data. The magic is putting these two together.
It is true. So a lot of the Mailchimp backend is dedicated to people who want to send emails to sell you stuff. So I don't obviously use it that way, but if I send you an email with Stacy's Pottery and I'm featuring 3 pots, I can see what people click on. I can see actually who clicks on what. And now if you actually have the purchase data on their side, you can actually say, Leo bought this particular pot. And I can pull, that's actually pretty interesting. I won't lie. It's that close in the loop.
We know how much Aunt Pruitt loves TikTok musicals, and I'm sure that's why
I put this
Jeff
on here
Jarvis,
just for him.
Are you kidding me?
Just for Aunt.
When I say I could be brown, I could be blue, I could be violet sky, I could be hurtful, I could be purple, I could be anything you like, what comes to mind?
I don't know. Wizard of Oz?
Nothing. It's the Grace.
I don't know why
it's.
I could be blue. I could be violet.
Is this a Grace Kelly?
Sky, I could be.
Is this from a movie? A Grace Kelly movie?
I don't know where it's from. I just know it's all over Twitter or TikTok.
Is this Yentl or something other?
Sounds like Yentl.
People do. They record. One person can record all the parts, or 2 people can record all the parts, and so it's quite popular. You could go down below the one you're going to show and show why it's popular.
I'll show you. I'll show the girls. Doing
collaborative is the key.
Yeah, here's some girls. This is called the Grace Kelly Singing Challenge.
I could be brown, I could be blue, I could be violet sky, I could be hurtful, I could be purple, I could be anything you like. I could be brown, I could be blue, I could be violet sky, I could be hurtful, I could be purple, I could be anything you like.
It's like a round.
Oh, yeah.
I could be brown, I could be blue, I could be violet.
Well, it can just be one person singing.
Yeah.
I like
It's
it though
cool
when it's
that
in
they
harmony
have this in a daggum mobile app. It's cool. They have
I know, isn't that great?
I have to say, I'm a TikTok fan. My son now has 200,000 plus followers and millions of views on every video. So I'm a believer. So anyway, the reason
I'm a sucker for these. They're all pretty to listen to.
I love them. I love the singing ones. So apparently, I didn't know this, but Ryan Reynolds, who is of course,
this happened yesterday.
the owner of Mint Mobile,
Don't give away the surprise.
and Will Ferrell are working together in a movie called A Christmas Carol. And Ryan Reynolds decided, as long as he's got nothing to do, because this is the problem, frankly, being on a movie set, you got a lot of free time in between takes. So he thought he'd try it himself.
I could be brown, I could be blue, I could be violet sky, I could be hurtful, I could be purple, I could be anything you like. I could be brown, I could be blue, I could be
How's he doing the
violet
harmony?
sky, I could be hurtful, I could be purple.
You layer
I could
it
be
on.
anything
Oh, I
you
see.
In, like an editor.
Brown, I could be blue, I could be violet sky, I could be hurtful.
That's pretty
I could
good.
be
He's a good
purple,
singer.
I could be anything you like. I could be brown, I could be blue, I could be violet sky, I could be hurtful, I could be purple, I could be anything you like. I could be brown, I could be blue.
And Will Ferrell
I could be
walks in
violet sky,
and does the
I could
high
be
part.
hurtful, I could be purple, I could be anything you like. I could be brown, I could be blue, I could be violet sky, I could be hurtful.
That's pretty damn good.
That's really freaking good.
I hope this
Isn't that
Christmas
great?
Carol is a musical.
That's really freaking good.
Yeah, apparently
Isn't
it is
that?
a musical, so I guess they can both sing.
Oh, Ant's going to start liking musicals.
That would be no, negative, sir. No. That was good though. I give credit where credit's due. That to be able to do this inside of a mobile app is
We're going to make him a TikToker sooner or later.
That's
We are
why
there.
TikTok is so amazing, because it enables that kind of collaboration and remixing, and it's just it's a new level of content creation.
Yeah.
So wait, I've got
the
a
cool
better
stuff.
for you,
You have a better
Ant.
example?
I will say, no. Well, I was going to say, because I thought of Ant this week. Actually, I realized I finally learned how to do makeup, and everyone was like, "Oh, just watch a YouTube
you know what?
tutorial."
I was
But-
just going to say, Stacey, you look really good today.
Oh, thank you. I did not. I didn't. I don't have contour, but I finally learned how to do
I
contour.
was just going to say, I didn't
Little
want to
late,
say
sir. A
anything.
little late.
No. I noticed right away. I wanted to be, because I know people, Stacey, nobody likes it personal. But
That's true.
I
given
don't.
that you've raised this point, whatever you're doing, it's working.
Well,
Dig it.
I had an event earlier, so that's all.
Okay.
But YouTube gave people infinite time, so their makeup tutorials were killer. I was like, I do not need to watch someone for 10 minutes. But for like a minute, people can get
That's what's
everything
good
I
about
need.
TikTok.
And so,
Yep.
yeah, I'm like, screw YouTube. TikTok's where it's at.
Well, and as we mentioned last week, TikTok has more viewing now. People spend more time watching TikToks than they do YouTube videos, and that's probably why.
Short attention span.
And
But
I talked to my son a lot about this because he's really become the TikTok master. He's now my teacher on TikTok, 250,000 followers and growing fast. You
What's
can
that
go up
middle
to
one?
you can go up to 3 minutes, but he's found that it's better if they're shorter. So, by the way, today he posted a video. Today, 4.6 million views so far. This one we showed. I thought we showed this one last week.
I would
maybe
like
not.
to eat that.
He's one of the things he does is he's big on sound effects.
People love those sound effects.
Natural sound. Foley, ASMR, whatever you want to call it. He's the master. The other thing he does, and I talked to him about this, is it's not clear when it's looping. So people watch it over and over and over again because they're not sure it got to the end. And he
It's
says
like a high quality gift.
he does that very consciously.
How long does it take to edit one of those?
Half a day. So here's his most recent. This is a duck sandwich.
It's pretty good.
Nice choice of music for this one.
I know. I told him that. I said Edith Piaf. Wow.
I just want the onion.
Although I've heard it, I think, a couple times on some of my videos, so maybe it's just
I asked him
trending
how he
on the
figured
app.
out what music places. I just listen to Spotify a lot and try to find something that works with the thing. So
Plus, it's the real sound too.
the real
Slaps
sound
and
is
the
what's
flops and the-
key. Yeah.
Yeah.
So 8 million views, 7.5 million views, 3.5.
So I was asking you before, and we got interrupted ourselves. How do you turn that into a living?
I keep asking him that. I try not to be that dad because when I was when his mom and I got married, his mom's brother said, "Don't marry a DJ. Those guys, they're the worst. They're not going anywhere."
Just a subtle nudge.
Yeah. So, but that's true, and I realized I was doing the same thing with him. Oh, come on, don't. That's not real media. But it is real media. This is modern media.
He could get invited to the Met Gala next year.
I wouldn't be surprised at all, and I hope he wears that
could.
sweatshirt and sunglasses and the cheesy porn stash, all of which we try to discourage him from wearing. My mom, 88-year-old mom, says, "Don't wear a hat, Henry. You're so cute. Why are you wearing a hat?" But I just tell her, "Mom, it's a different generation, This
Yeah.
So, but I'm, we worked out this morning together. I'm always querying him, what are you learning? And he's really paying close attention to the feedback that he gets, both from comments, but also views, and is tuning it slowly closer and closer to, and you can see that it makes a difference.
Jeez.
It really does.
What kind of metrics do they give them besides just views? Is there anything?
I'll have to ask him. I don't know. So you asked how do you make money? So there's a couple of ways to make money.
Yeah.
TikTok's ads are not interstitial. They're not in your video, right? So unlike YouTube, you don't have pre-roll, post-roll, mid-roll. So there's nothing tied to your video. So you don't get any of that ad revenue. It's like Instagram. It's every few videos there's an ad. Now, I see a lot more big brands on TikTok. So TikTok's doing suddenly very, very, very well. But they do have a $100 million creators fund. So that gets parceled out. But, he's got 4 million views, maybe $600. So it's not a big.
Wow.
So that
sounds like YouTube money.
No. Yeah. But what TikTok does, because they know they're not sharing revenue with you, they allow you to have ads. So you can sell your own ads in there. And the CPMs are something like $5, which if you have 7 million views is $7,000.
Nice.
Is that right? No, it's 30, I don't know. $5 per thousand.
Chat room.
7 million is $7,000. $35,000. That's a lot of money. Is that right? Could that be right? $35,000. So
save us, please.
It's a lot of money.
Stacey, can you do it?
No, I just did it. That's right.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was signing up for the Pixel Superfans Club because I'm like, we're going to talk about Google eventually. Yeah. Hold on. I'm sorry. Math.
So Scooter actually saying that the U.S. TikTok Creator Fund is actually now, they plan to spend $200 million over the next 12 months, August to August 2020 to 2021, and will be upwards of $1 billion in the next 3 years, and more than double that globally. They have to, because otherwise creators, that's what killed Vine. You got to share that money back, or creators go, yeah, we'll go somewhere else. And then he told me YouTube Shorts is doing this too. So, nevertheless.
Is he cross-posting it to anywhere other than...
Yeah, he puts it on Instagram as well. And I told him, do YouTube Shorts. Why not? What's wrong? Why wouldn't
you? Why not?
So I don't know if he's going to. I don't. But the next step for him would be to going out and selling ads.
Wow.
Or signing a deal with having a knife company or a chopping block company or pan company.
He's going to be...
Or sur la table.
Exactly.
And then he just goes and does cooking demos.
Exactly. He's going to be a guest poster on the Tastemade Instagram this week. Tastemade's big.
Ooh.
That's a big Instagram.
Yeah. That's branding there.
Yeah. So I think next year we'll see what I'd be saying about my son. Yeah. Don't be a TikTok star. They don't make any money. I might be wrong. I think it's not influencers. He's a content creator. And actually, my feeling is even if he doesn't make money on TikTok, the skills he's getting are useful and will get him, plenty of.
That's the one thing I can say about TikTok is the way it puts constraints on the content creator.
It's good.
Telling you, okay, I need to create content that is 60 seconds long, that is going to make people want to stop to click on it, first of all, and then make them want to watch it all the way through for 60 seconds, and then make them want to say, hey, did you see this? Let me show this to you. That's pretty daggum challenging, and not everybody can do that.
Yeah.
It's iambic pentameter.
It is.
Yeah.
Right? It's the limits of poetry and art, the constraints make the art.
Yep.
Yeah, so true.
And it also means,
wait, Jeff?
This is true of YouTube and Twitter and everything else. If you're going to be a content creator, you have to work your ass off. You have to post every day. You cannot stop. It's a content machine. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Stacey.
No, I was just going to say, Jeff, how does this relate back to Gutenberg?
Wait a minute. Give him time.
Hold on.
Give him time.
Since you asked, actually, 2, 1. Shakespeare found that verse sold better than prose.
Interesting.
And so Shakespeare was the first major, the first playwright a major playwright who ended up with a real market in printed plays. So around the same time that Montaigne invented the essay and Cervantes the modern novel, and a guy named Johann Carolus the newspaper, all around 1600, Shakespeare improved the market for printed plays since you asked.
If you don't mind, I'd like to take us back
it.
to the 21st century.
She asked.
I'm just teasing. I love it.
I could go on.
I love Shakespeare. Can we show the picture from Inspiration 4 right now, John? Today, the first I didn't realize this. There has never been an all-civilian space flight into orbit. This is the first all-civilian mission orbit. We've been talking about Inspiration 4.
Oh, I was supposed to watch that doc on Netflix.
You got a little time after the show because they're launching in 2 hours as we record. That'll be around 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. This is the Inspiration 4 crew. If you watch the documentary, I think it's called Countdown, you really get inspired. Jared Isaacman, who was, a startup guy, when he was 16 years old, he created a credit card payment company called Shift4 Payments, has become a billionaire in the 21 years since. Also has taken that money, learned to fly commercial military aircraft. He bought I think 40 fighter jets and has a private Black Diamond jet team. They do air shows. He's got 6,000 hours in the air, so he's an accomplished pilot. He bought the flight. I don't know what he spent, but he bought the flight. And he said, my 3 other crew members, because the SpaceX Crew Dragon holds, well, it can hold more, but it can hold up to 7 or 8, but there's going to be 4 on it. So he had a contest. First, he said, I want somebody from, it's all to benefit St. Jude. And they've raised, by the way, I think $100 million so far for St. Jude. They've raised a lot of money.
How much did the flight cost?
I don't know what he spent on the flight. They don't mention that, but it's
about $50 million according to Outersync and IRC.
Okay, $50 million. Haley Arsenault is going. She's 29 years old. She was treated for cancer as a child at St. Jude. Will be the first astronaut with a prosthetic. She has a prosthetic femur, and she's a physician's assistant at St. Jude's. So she's going up with her. Then they had a contest. You might have seen the Super Bowl ad where they said, if you contribute to St. Jude, you're in the drawing to go to be in seat 3. And this guy, Chris Zembrowski, won it. Turns out he's worked in the Air Force. He maintained intercontinental ballistic missiles and served in Iraq. So he has some experience. He has a BS in professional aeronautics. He'll be going. He's got a family, 2 little kids. And then the 4th crew member, Dr. Sian Proctor, is going to be the 3rd or 4th African-American woman, black woman, to go into space. And she, again, she won by submitting a video on Twitter to show her entrepreneurial spirit. She's 51 years old. She's going. So this is kind of an inspiring crew. And they are now in the capsule. So we were just showing the video. There's a picture of them kind of bonding as a team. They had to do astronaut training. They all have a role. They're flying the craft. Fortunately, they have a very accomplished pilot in the front seat. But there they are. They've actually entered the spacecraft.
And how long are they going to be up there?
3 orbits. I'm sorry, 3 days, which is how many orbits? 60 orbits? I don't know how many. Every 90 minutes they do an orbit, so you can do the math.
So wait. This is meant to be transport from here to the shuttle or back.
That's how it was used last time, and then it will also be used to go to the moon, won't it? Or
how do they do things that humans need to do?
Poo-poo?
Like eat and poop and stuff.
In their suit. There's actually, if I can find the picture, they can get up and move around once they get into orbit.
Yeah.
I have a book on that. I can actually answer that question, but the book is downstairs. It's a really good book.
Do you remember
grab a
anything
waffle
at all? Or just make up something, and that would be okay,
No,
too.
I have the answer. I'm not going to make it up. Just stay tuned. Also,
she's just trying to grab a waffle.
I can name
that's right. That's right, Aunt. You're on to her.
No, we moved and I don't know where my kids' science books are.
There is
It's
a
by
bathroom.
Ariel
I will tell you
Waldman.
because I remember now. Because there is a viewing dome. Once they get into orbit, the top of this capsule opens up and there's a clear viewing dome they can go into. And the reason I know is because the viewing dome is next to the bathroom, which is over here. So there is actually a little space.
There's an actual bathroom.
Yeah.
I see. Okay. All right.
Yeah. It's a fairly capacious.
And so food, they just get crackers.
Astronaut food. You get astronaut ice cream.
Get the ice cream.
You get Tang. It's great.
Prime rib
In a bag. You know, it's a normal
Taco Bell chicken sandwiches.
It's a regular space flight. Okay,
they're catering.
It's a regular space
I want to know
flight.
something super nerdy.
Yeah,
I can name 3 of the African American women astronauts who've actually.
I know Mae Jemison is one, right?
Mae Jemison, Joan Higginbotham.
Didn't know. Oh,
Stephanie
you know
Wilson.
her, Aunt Joan.
I do.
Of course. Yeah.
nice.
And who's the other one?
Mike. Stephanie Wilson.
Oh, I'm impressed that you can name them. That's great.
Awesome.
I love astronauts.
Me too.
I can name lots of female astronauts.
Me too.
I'll be honest.
So, have you been following this inspiration flight at all?
No, I have other things I'm doing.
It's pretty exciting. I would actually.
It is exciting.
Get your
I'm gonna
daughter
go watch the
to
doc
join you because the doc is great. The doc will tee you up very nicely. And this 29-year-old, she's on screen right now, Haley Arsenault, not my screen on the TV. No, there we go. Is absolutely great and adorable. They're all great. You really start to, if you watch the doc, which is only 2 episodes, because they're going to have more episodes as the flight goes on. It really gets you to get to know them and get excited for them. One of the things Haley, first of all, the video call that each of them got saying, by the way, you're going into space, is wonderful. And Haley wrote and said, "Are we going to the moon? Where are we going? I don't know. Where are we going in this? No. But it is real orbit. In fact, it's a little higher than the space station. So it's a fairly.
Oh wow, that's an actual.
It's a high.
Hey, the book is called
awesome.
"What It's Like in Space: Stories from Astronauts Who've Been There." It's designed for kids. It's by Ariel Waldman. And I have a copy, and it is amazing.
Nice.
And it answers all of your questions.
Oh, neat. Anyway, I wanted to mention it because I'm inspired by it. And I think it's really, it's interesting because unlike Jeff Bezos's flight or Branson's flight. It's a real flight for one thing. And these are civilians, but they're trained and, there they are in the centrifuge and everything. They have to be highly trained for this, but they're civilians and they're going to get to do it, which is great. It's pretty.
Your friend and listener Tanya Wyman sent the message to me on Saturday during football. It's like, hey, make sure you watch this doc, and I put it in the queue, and I never got around to it.
Well, you can watch the launch tonight, and then after the launch, you'll know a little bit more about.
Are they going to try to accomplish any science?
They have some science. Yes, they have some science they're going to do. I don't remember what it was, but they have some projects up there.
Yeah, you can't go to space without science
cats,
projects.
so they can listen to cats in space.
How cats communicate with aliens.
Astronauts,
Oh,
yes.
can you imagine a little cat with the little helmet that it's trying to get off the whole time?
Cat
The whole time.
Cat would not be happy. Not be happy at
Cockroaches in space. We can figure out what to do about cockroaches in space capsules. This would be very useful.
God,
See, all
what
the
if they
science
survived?
together. They will. Oh, Stacey, they will.
Oh, I'm sure they will survive. Yeah.
I bet there are already roaches in space. I bet the space station has roaches.
You think?
Okay.
That's a good question.
That is a good. I'm like, that's not in my book, but I wish it were.
You think? I think it's pretty clean.
International Space Station infested with mysterious bugs, says the New York Post. Well,
wait a minute.
Well. All right. Let's take a break and more to come, including the Google changelog in just a little bit. Our show today brought to you by CrowdStrike. This is a very interesting approach and I think very successful to fighting ransomware attacks using the knowledge of the crowd. The problem is ransomware never sleeps. It's constantly moving, constantly changing, and of course, constantly attacking. You've seen the headlines. We talk about it all the time. Ransomware attack after ransomware attack, holding businesses hostage. And if you've got a business, you can, I know I feel this way, you can just like feel like it's only a matter of time before they come for you, and then you're going to have a very, very tough decision. Pay the ransomware crooks millions of dollars or lose everything. Well, there is a third option. Defeat your adversaries before the fight even starts. I don't think anybody disagrees. It is always a lot better not to get ransomware in the first place. Thank goodness there's CrowdStrike. You're not alone in the battle against ransomware. A secure future demands a shared defense. That's what's so cool about CrowdStrike. Their Falcon platform uses something they call Threat Graph, advanced AI to analyze the behavior on your devices, your servers, your cloud workloads, but also of all the other people using CrowdStrike to find the threats and stop them. That means you can harness the power of the CrowdStrike team to protect you, because ransomware is constantly changing. How much information? Get ready for this. I talked to CrowdStrike's CTO, Michael Sentonas. 1 trillion bits of data a day, 7 trillion with a T, a week. That's how CrowdStrike fights ransomware. It's like they have their feelers out throughout the world, keeping an eye on everything, on the most sophisticated cyber attacks, and then delivering you protection via the cloud through a lightweight, intelligent agent. Forrester found Falcon Complete delivers 403% ROI. And I'll tell you, 100% confidence. They harness the power of every click, every action, all the allies to grow stronger and stop cyber threats before they can stop you. Falcon Complete stops breaches every hour of every day through expert management, threat hunting, monitoring, and remediation. I love it. They put their money where their mouth is with CrowdStrike's breach prevention warranty. They don't just say it, they guarantee it. For Falcon Complete managed customers who receive a warranty, you're covering up to $1 million in the event of a breach. Terms and conditions apply. Michael Sentonas explained, when I talked to him, what makes CrowdStrike different and sets them apart from others.
I think what makes us unique is we've always tried to stay true to our mission to stop breaches, and today it's never been more relevant. When CrowdStrike was founded a decade ago, organizations and governments were being breached, and technology that they were using was not protecting them. So our goal was to build the fundamentals that organizations need to defend themselves and to stop breaches. And that is everything that we focus on. We focus on the customer, we focus on stopping breaches, and we make sure that we continually innovate to stay ahead of the threat for the benefit of our customers.
10 years later, Gartner Magic Quadrant named CrowdStrike a leader for endpoint protection platforms in 2021. It really works. Join the fight. Experience the power of Falcon Platform free today. Crowdstrike.com/twit. CROWD, crowd, is the power of the crowd, strike, STRIKE, you'll strike at the heart of ransomware. Crowdstrike.com/twit. CrowdStrike, because what we've built together is worth defending together. And we thank them so much for their support. I really enjoyed talking to Michael. Super smart guy, and what they're doing is really sophisticated. Crowdstrike.com/twit. Please use that address so they know you saw it here on the show. Let's see.
I want to talk about Amazon at one point.
All right. Yeah, we haven't talked about Amazon, and there's a lot to talk about. Hourly pay for Amazon workers.
That's what fascinates me. Right. So Amazon has they've raised their hourly. A few weeks ago, we said they're going to hire 55,000 people in technology and corporate. Now they've announced they're going to hire another 125,000 workers for the warehouses. And they're going to raise their minimum pay from $15 to $18, and at the same time, they're going to pay full college tuition for frontline employees.
That's what got me.
Fascinates me is that it puts tremendous pressure on Walmart, on other employers. And even without Congress, Amazon is having an impact of raising wages where they have employees. And at a time of tight labor, at a time of difficulty, it's rather like regulatory capture. Amazon's doing it, saying, "Hey, we can afford it, so fine. We're going to put pressure on everybody else." And you want to complain about unions and all that? Well, we pay more. So I'm not saying it's all golden-hearted, But it is really interesting how a company that size can have that kind of influence on the economy as a whole. So I just wanted to make mention of that.
I think it's great, and I would love to see them make working conditions more tolerable.
Yeah.
Because you're earning that $18. I mean, it is hard work, and it's hard on the body. But, yeah.
They have that college fund that's paying full tuition, and if I read it right, it said they're paying it up front. It's not something that you have to pay, like that it comes at the end where they reimburse you or anything. They're going ahead and paying it. And it made me think, okay, if these working conditions are known to be so terrible and you're a college student, where's the balance? How is that going to work out? Is this a way for them to change the culture that they have? Of people just assuming their working conditions are so bad? Or will it change for the people not going to college? Or I just had a couple of different questions about all of that.
And one thing I've heard too is that they recognize that eventually robots will replace more and more of these people, and they want to be able to say, "Well, we got them ready for that world." New skills.
To me, it comes down to, is this, well, we're going to raise it to $18 now, don't pay any attention to anything else, or is this Andy Jassy, the new CEO, saying, no, clearly it's reputationally hurting us. We've got to do something about it. So let's do some things. And I bet you there's more. I hope there's more to make this a better job for people. It's hard work. It's warehouse work. It's hard work. So is it enough just to say, well, we're going to pay them more? And I agree with you. Give you educational opportunities is great, because that means
I think that's more important if they can actually, if you have the time and the ability to do it, that actually does help you level up if you're interested in that. And a lot of people probably are.
Good. All right.
My former CEO, I remember when we went to a more automated system for our clients and hanging out in the gym with the CEO, he says, I want us to have this product to where our staff can do more things that require some brain power, not just be somebody pushing a button. And so we went into this automated process, and it did. It made people put their thinking caps on and be a little bit more analytical about the day-to-day operations versus just straight up data entry at the desk, So I totally dig if they're trying to set up the staff to be ready to maintain the robots so the robots don't take us over. I salute you for that.
Amazon is also making their first TV set. The Fire TV.
Who are the poor folks who bought their Amazon phone?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to buy an Amazon TV.
Nope.
They're putting TikTok on it. That's good. That's
good. Comcast is actually partnering with Hisense to make their own.
I saw that too. Boy,
I'm like, everybody needs it. There's so much data on those platforms.
That's
and
what it's really
everyone's going to be moving to a streaming.
Yeah, that's
a streaming.
Last week we had the story of the TV as the ad platform now. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The Xfinity TV made by Comcast and Hisense will have Comcast's X1 box built into it. That's the other reason they want to do it. But I think you're right, Stacey. It's all about
data,
spying on the users. Amazon CEO Andy Jassy says it's hard to argue that it's a monopoly. It's hard to argue that it's a monopoly. He says our retail business is just about 1% of the worldwide retail market segment. It's nowhere close to majority share. We compete with very large companies.
Cheating a little bit, but go ahead.
Yeah, but there's Walmart, there's Target, there's Kroger. That's a good point.
Yeah,
can't disagree with him on that. Also, Amazon's media ambitions are strong. He says it's still early days for us in media. This is an interview with CNBC. We're off to a great start, but we do believe we have an opportunity to provide a unique viewing experience for our customers with really original and creative content. They bought MGM for $8.45 billion. I don't think that's been approved yet. They spent $11 billion on content last year. They bought the Lord of the Rings TV series, which debuts in a year, for $465 million just for the rights. And by the way, I've been informed it is not the Lord of the Rings story that we've already seen made into movies. Is it a prequel, John? Did you tell me it's another? It's in the Lord of the Rings universe, but it's a different story. So all they really bought is the right to the kind of the name.
The Simularilon or whatever that book is.
Cimarilla, yeah, right. That Cimarilla.
That thing.
Yeah, that thing. Nobody ever reads, right? Have you tried to read it?
Oh no.
No.
I barely got through the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I'm so sorry.
Thank goodness for cinema.
Cimarillon is even more. A collection of mythopoetic stories by J.R.R. Tolkien. Silmarillion. It has 5 parts. In the first, Ayunadale tells of the creation of Ea, the world that is. The second part, Vala Quenta, gives it. Never mind. Forget I said anything.
And we're done.
Yeah.
Where's the 3-body problem? That's what I'm waiting for.
They're working on that,
And I feel like
right?
it ran into trouble. Yeah, well, they were, but I thought it ran into some issues.
We will see Foundation on Apple TV Plus this next month. That's coming.
I don't care about
The big thing, the big ticket item they're looking at is NFL football. They want to buy. They already have a Thursday night package. They want to buy Sunday night as well. That's big money.
A lot of eyeballs.
That is money.
Yeah, big money. Both coming and going. You have to do both. You have to
Amazon
spend money
v.
to make
Murdoch.
money.
That's fun.
Yeah, Murdoch was. Didn't we say that he was like throwing things? He was like really pissed. Or is that my imagination? Maybe that was a dream I had. Rupert, what's the matter? The next big tech battle, Financial Times says Amazon's bet on healthcare begins to take shape.
Ooh.
We've talked with, they're one of our sponsors, Amazon's Pharmacy.
Yeah.
But that's not all.
Was this about their pharmacy stuff?
That's not all.
This is hey, what's your name? Help me finish surgery.
It's at Houston Methodist Hospital. The very same technology that plays music and sets your timer. Instead, here's start surgery. I hope they're not using the Samuel
thigh
L.
bone's connected to the knee bone.
They're not using the Samuel L.
Wait, are they
Jackson
using it to
voice.
control like?
I got that wrong.
Wait, hold up. Are they controlling like Da Vinci, like laparoscopic surgery machines? Or are they?
You're checking off things. You're checking off. It says it's like a takeoff in SpaceX. Did you take
Got
out
it.
the scalpel? Yes, I took out the scalpel. So
That was a big deal. They implemented that.
Yeah.
Yes.
In ORs.
And then it also memorializes it. So you can say, yeah, I took the scalpel out. I told it I took the scalpel out at 476.
Oh, that's kind of interesting. So it forces like these people who are kind of like, yeah, I'm so awesome because I'm a surgeon. It forces them to have to go through it and leaves a record.
It's also being used in consulting rooms where the doctor can add information to the health record with the patient's consent by saying, hey, now I have to say I don't use the A word. I use Ziggy, and I have the male voice. But then I've recently added Samuel L. Jackson, Melissa McCarthy. And it's like it's got a multiple personality because if you say whatever person's name, if you say, hey, Samuel. So I think I want the physician to say, hey, Samuel. This guy's got a bunion.
Yes.
What do you mean a bunion? Samuel, if you go, hey, Samuel, why do you cuss so much? Just try it. I'll leave it at that. He swears up a blue streak. It's great. So instead of typing in a keyboard, the doctor is actually kind of saying, hey, remember this, remember that. I think that'll be
because
interesting.
right now they dictate to almost a dictaphone.
Well, this is when you talk.
So electronics, yeah.
When you go to at least my doctor is often sitting at a keyboard, looking at my medical record. This is at Kaiser, big HMO, and then he'll talk to me, and he's very nice. He's personal. I love my doctor. He actually listens to our shows. So hi, Stephen.
Hi, Doc.
Hi, Doc.
Hi, Doc.
Hi, Leo's doctor.
Don't put him back on that stupid diet.
I won't say
he was really grumpy.
No, he didn't put me on that diet. He said don't do it.
Okay, good. Thanks, Doc.
I have to say, the last checkup I had a Zoom checkup with him. He says, before we go, can I ask you a tech question? I said, okay.
Wait, what?
He said, should I buy the Model Y or the Mach-E?
Nice.
And I went into a whole thing, blah, blah. He said, well, that's good because I put in an order on the Mach-E. I said, well, you should have told me that up front. Anyway, no, he's great. But he spends a lot of the time typing, while he's talking. He's always entering in notes as he's talking. That's how he does it. And I guess that's replaced the pen and paper.
Yeah, it used to be pen and pad.
Yeah. I know. It doesn't
now
bother
they dictate.
me.
At my place, they dictate.
Do they while they're talking to you?
Directly. No. They take down notes and then they have to go
afterwards.
Off. They sit in their office and they dictate.
Yeah.
And
so
automatic transcription.
I don't know. It'd be a little weird if he's doing it while he's talking to you. So he says, so Leo, how's your sleep? It's not so good, Doc. His sleep is not so good. And do you feel this cough? He's coughing.
The prostate's okay.
It's okay in there. Let me out of here. So Amazon, nurse, help me. Amazon has given the Kindle, and you know what? I use a Kindle all the time, and I forgot before I came in today to boot it up and see there's a new UI on the Kindle, first since 2015.
What?
Yeah, so boot up your Kindle.
All right. I got to go grab my Kindle.
Well, it probably has to download it.
And a waffle. We know Stacey has a waffle.
Boy, she's been trying to get that waffle for the...
He's been trying like crazy,
really, like any excuse. Let me get that book on how astronauts poop. I'll be right back. You nailed it, Ant. You knew.
Yeah, you did. You did.
Holy cow. Oh, no, I can find that.
I've joined the club, too, though.
Oh, he's got his own waffle. Well, I have to admit, I ate that donut. I didn't want to.
I'm waffleless and I'm back.
She's back and she's waffleless.
You're de-waffled? You're unwaffled?
Well, no, they take a long time to toast, y'all.
Well, I hope you put one down. That's how we
no,
in the restaurant trade. Like that's what we say.
Waffle.
Put down a waffle. Adam and Eve on a raft. Wreck them.
Drop the meat.
That's how we talk in the biz. I'm just saying.
All right, I'm going to restart my Kindle.
He's playing with his iPad. He's playing with his iPad. So in the Big Apple event yesterday, they kept showing how pilots love iPads strapped to their thighs. Well, there you go. It's not strapped to his thigh.
He keeps clicking and nothing's happening.
Nothing's happening.
Hey, this thing's not working. There we go.
It is mounted to his thigh. Oh, he's holding his leg up. Oh, yeah. They all got iPads on their thighs. See, Apple's looking at this going, yeah, baby, that's good. You keep it up, Elon. Keep up the good work.
Let's see, do I have 3 days worth of movies? This is going to be really boring. Once you see the Earth, what's the deal?
One of the things about this Inspiration 4 is it's the first all-civilian crew on an all-civilian craft with an all-civilian company. It is launching from Cape Canaveral, but, a NASA launch pad, but all the civilian space companies have offices down there. I love also that they've designed...
Wait, is Mission Control civilian as well?
Yeah. It's SpaceX. It's so weird to watch Mission Control on a SpaceX launch because it's just a bunch of guys.
TV.
Yeah.
You're going to have on shorts and flip-flops.
No. Seriously. They're in Hawaiian shirts. They're basically sitting at like folding tables with computers on them. I mean, it's not...
All right.
It doesn't feel...
It is not the NASA Mission Control.
Not quite. But you know what? It's probably more realistic. The other thing I love, he designed the suits to look like they're, like they're like in a movie, right? Doesn't this look science fiction-y? It's like the inside of a Tesla.
Yes.
Less risky.
Maybe it's more functional than looks, though, sir.
No. One would maybe say that, but no. I think it's really about the looks. It's cool. It's very cool. Now, John, you're going to have to... John's our space expert. I've seen in some articles it says that the flight is entirely controlled from ground. But it does feel like these guys have something to do up there.
They're tapping on their iPads.
If there's an issue, okay. So it's not fully autonomous in the sense that Houston or ground control will control it, but El Segundo. See, there's the difference. Kennedy Space Center in Houston? No. It's actually in El Segundo on Route 405, but it's a great place. There's a donut shop just around the corner. If they lose control of it, they can take over, but they're not what one would call fully trained astronauts. I think Jared is a pilot.
Kennedy is in Florida.
I know. I'm just joking around.
Oh, okay. I was like, that's not right.
It's Johnson Space Center in Houston. I know.
I was like, I
named
grew
after
up there.
LBJ. It's Johnson. Am I right? It's the Johnson.
It is the Johnson Space Center.
And SpaceX
home of all my field trips.
Is in Torrance, not El Segundo. It's just down the 405 apiece. It's in the same area.
Sorry, Leo. Sorry. Space nerds, they want you to get it right.
Get it right, space nerds. All right. Okay. It does look like the spacesuits from Prometheus from the movies, I really think. But they didn't have iPads in there. That's so cool. So cool. It's going to be a night launch, a dark launch, which is always interesting. We will keep an eye on that as we go. Update Google Chrome immediately. In fact, this has been a bad week for update everything immediately.
Set everything, just turn it all off, let it update, and back up.
Security vulnerabilities, 11 of them in Chrome, 2 of which are already in the wild. That means they're 0 days. They're active. That means you need to patch. The patch went out on Monday. And your Chrome should now be version 93.0.4577.82. All you have to do really is launch Chrome, check about Chrome, and then close it and reopen it, and it should automatically update.
That's not true of Chrome OS, just Chrome, the browser.
Chrome OS, if you go to About Chrome OS, I think it will tell you what version, and if you need a restart, it'll tell you to restart. So I think you could still do that. I think it's in the system tray on the right there.
Yeah, it usually has it right in the bottom right corner.
So click, you take the trackpad, that's that square thing at the bottom. You move
That's what that's called?
Yeah, and then move your finger.
What's the cursor?
He's not laughing.
What's the cursor? I'm old enough to remember that.
Cursor.
The cursor is called Jeff Jarvis.
Cursor. He's the cursor.
Yeah, you bet.
Who's the cursor? Samuel Jackson. How can we have all these TikToks things on here?
Jeff is obsessed with TikTok.
No, I only put. I did put that one on there. Yes, I found. I like for Ant. I do musical TikTok. For you guys, I do food TikTok.
I wanted to let people. So you know how Google said they were going to start showing AQI, air quality index, on their devices?
They do.
Mine now have it.
Mine does
and I'm
too.
very excited about it.
I saw it this morning. 36. I went out and took a deep breath. Do they get that from the purple maps, or where do they get that? Do we know?
Oh, I don't have it yet.
Let's see if I.
It's on the face of my. It's on the. So when you're on your Google Home next,
it's airnow.gov.
It's AirNow. Okay.
Shh. Okay. It stopped talking.
Okay. In the lower, when you're sitting there and it's showing pictures and you have the time, and it's in the lower right there underneath I think it's underneath the weather. I saw it this morning.
Here, I can show you.
Yeah, show us.
Oh wait, no, I can't.
No, you can't. It's
well,
attached.
I have to have a photo that's not.
Yeah, mine doesn't have the update.
We don't need it here. We have clean air here.
Oh, shut up. We need it here. I could tell you that right now.
Okay, here. Oh wait, it's not showing. It's now just a photo.
Damn.
Oh.
That's because you moved it.
Damn it.
But I know. I'll back you up on that.
Okay, thank you. Oh, here it is. You want to see it?
Mm-hmm.
If you do. See that green bubble at the bottom?
Yeah, it's green. It's good. It's clean. Mm-hmm. It's green. It's clean. It's good.
And if you press it, it gives you data on your area and talks to you, which is why I was shushing it.
I thought this was on the Pixel on your phones. It's just on your...
No, you have to have one of those.
Oh, you
don't. That's right. You don't have any of those in your house. You don't like those.
Yeah, I didn't say I don't like them. It's just...
You don't want anybody listening.
I don't really need it.
Oh, yeah, you do. You don't know you need it.
Yeah, you do. You know why you need it? Because Amazon is getting so chatty. If I hear one more, I'm like, set an alarm.
The issue here is Google's contracts with device.
Sorry, that was just
what?
Me.
I just get everything, and it's like, by the way, and I'm like,
shut up.
I don't want to hear your by the ways.
By the way, we had Carl Bodie on Twit, and he was great. Thank you for recommending.
He's just so cranky.
He was. I love him. He's like really great.
Oh, I adore him.
Would you like to have him?
All love.
I think we're thinking of getting him on Twig, because I think you're going to be taking a week off in a week or two. So.
I need to see my father this week.
Yeah. So maybe
I thought Jason came to me and said, "Will you be on Twit?" And I thought, "Oh, good. Stacey was on. It's my turn now. I love this. I'm at the grown-up table." And I didn't listen to the date. So I was all ready. I told my wife, I'm not going to be able to make dinner last Sunday. I get it. I go into the rundown. I'm adding stuff.
It's not you.
And then I suddenly see I got preempted. I'm not at the table.
No.
I'm not there.
It wasn't.
I thought I did something wrong.
No, we
Then I
book
realized I was
ahead.
just an idiot. Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's going to be a really good one. I hope you can make it. September
can.
26th.
I'll be back from Florida.
It's a week from Sunday. And the reason it's going to be kind of a journalist roundtable, Dan Gilmore from formerly the San Jose Mercury News, but he's been working at the Walter Cronkite School in Arizona on journalism. And Stephen Levy, who is kind of my personal hero of what he calls slow journalism. He wrote several of the quintessential tech books, including Hackers.
Facebook books. And
his
Hackers,
Facebook and Google books are great. Anyway, so that's going to be an interesting twist. Stephen Levy, Dan Gilmore, and Jeff Jarvis. That's going to be... I hope there's no news.
Old white men do journalism? I'll see myself out. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm like, I have thoughts
Stacey,
on all of these.
Would you like to join us that week? You can.
I would not like to join you that week.
No, we would love to have you.
Oh, no. I'm good. Thank you. But, if you could find someone who...
Last Sunday, we had we had Carl, but we had two women on with Carl.
I believe you. I'm just saying that they all come from a certain era and a certain type
my
of
era.
journalism. And maybe
it's not just it's old farts do journalism.
It's old journalism. Yeah. No, that's true.
I'm just there might be some.
I'll get a TikTok star on with us, and that'll round out the
Under the Desk News is very good.
Under the
Jeff,
Desk.
do you know who that person is?
No.
Is that on TikTok?
Do you not follow Under the Desk News?
No.
It is excellent. It's journalism on TikTok. Go check it out.
Is it just Under the Desk? Oh, yeah. Under the Desk News. Yeah.
There you go.
Wow. 1.2 million followers. Here, let's just play a little bit of Under the Desk News.
To apologize for scaring the crap out of some of you this morning, I will now give you some of the most unusual headlines related to coronavirus or the vaccine.
She's literally under the desk.
Will write you a religious exemption if you donate to his church. Then the Pope came out and encouraged Catholics to get the vaccine. I found this at CVS. They're claiming that hypertonic nasal flushing can help reduce
I actually used that
viral load.
But I didn't see that part.
In Baltimore is one of 70 in the United States that will begin vaccinating their animals. A 64-year-old man who had escaped prison in Australia turned himself back in, saying because of the Sydney lockdowns, he can't find any work and he doesn't like.
Okay, we don't have to do the whole thing, but that's good. I'm subscribing right now. That's great. Is what pronoun? I shouldn't assume that it's she.
I was going to suggest, yes.
They, them. Sorry. They. I apologize. I had to check the profile. Cool. Under the desk. And they actually are under the desk.
Or they do above the desk news for, is it Fridays? They do above the desk at nighttime is for the Elizabeth Holmes trial, and then they have
I gotta watch
that. They wear for fun news,
but it's like a little gossipy kind of,
Yes, and they do a really good job of reporting the headlines, providing not much context. This is much more like people who don't want to know what's going on, but doing it in a way that feels friendly and then also
it's fast.
Connecting to the audience.
Yeah.
So the stuff actually about their coverage of leaving Afghanistan was excellent, I thought, because it was very much dedicated to or like talking to the veterans, and just if you follow them, you'll see what happens. I think they do a really good job.
I should really get them on that show with a bunch of old white men. That would be very fitting. And you know what? They could do it under the desk because we've got lots of room. I can even raise the desk so that, in fact, let's all be under the desk now. The rest of this show, see, two could play at that game. The rest of the show, we'll all be under the desk for the rest of the show.
I could do mine under the desk, but my camera's still going to go all the way up. So
your forehead is above the desk, but the rest of you.
Right now, Mr. Burke is cringing.
Hi, I'm over here. Yeah. No, Mr. Burke's not cringing. He's actually taking a nap under the desk.
That wouldn't surprise me either.
All right, let's get back to the news at hand.
Can I come out now?
Yes.
What is he doing?
You don't have to be under the desk. I automatically moved you all under the desk.
I thought
he's really under the desk.
Oh, okay. Well, Mike moved, so I can do that. Hello.
Google. I was going to do this story.
What else are we working on?
I got distracted. South Korea fines Google for abusing smartphone dominance. South Korea, of course, the home of Samsung. $177 million fine is not going to break the bank. Samsung, by the way, uses Android, but the fine is for hampering the development of rivals to Android.
I didn't understand that. If this is, what is it, AOSP, Android, that means it's out there and available for whomever to do what they want with it. So how is that considered hampering?
So what Google does do, and I think this is not inappropriate, but that's my personal opinion, they have Android. There is the Android open software, which AOSP, which anybody can use for free, but you don't get access to Google Apps or the Google services if
to
you
Google
do that.
Play.
To Google Play. So Google strongly encourages people to, because you can't have access to services, including the store, to use their version of Android. And if you are going to use their version of Android, you have to put the store, Google services, the Google apps, all of that stuff. Google's they call this the anti-fragmentation agreements. The Korean Fair Trade Commission said the AFA agreements with the manufacturers like Samsung and LG, who was out of the business, by the way, prevented gadget makers from developing or using modified versions of the Android OS that does not prevent them. The watchdog banned Google from forcing manufacturers to sign AFA contracts, ordered that it modify existing ones.
Is it more so that Google forced them, or
the market forces them? The market
Right.
says, because you can, for instance, that's what China did. They just, they don't have Google services in their phone.
Yeah.
Not as desirable, in my opinion.
I agree.
The Google quantum computer, I don't know.
No.
Why are we giving up?
We did that. We did that story. This is just.
we did that story, but this is another one saying how it's going to change everything.
They made another time crystal. Oh, great.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, okay.
Appreciate it.
Nice. Thank you.
I still won't understand it.
Now we have
Thanks.
two. That's good. We need all the time
Quantum
crystals we
Magazine
can get.
they had a good story on quantum computing that was actually pretty accessible.
I'm not worried about not understanding it. I'm worried that it is kind of out of the reach of science. I suppose maybe we'll solve it someday, but scientists are glad to take government research funds and build beautiful labs like that Google Quantum Lab because, hey, free money. And I guess it makes sense that the government should be funding this kind of research, because what if the Chinese come up with one before we do?
Right.
But I don't think anybody's going to come up with one anytime soon. But I'm not an expert in quantum computing. So I'll just, someday, one of these days, we'll get somebody who's really up on this, like a real person doing it. And we can just kind of say, really, come on.
The D-Wave guys will come
don't
on.
want to be on air.
Say again, Stacey?
The D-Wave guys will come on and talk about quantum computing until your hair falls out.
Yeah, but are they actual quantum physicists?
They've been building an actual quantum computer for the last 20 years. So
I feel like, these things are not stable. They're very hard to get it's very confusing to me. It doesn't seem like they're able to make these do anything useful except make time crystals.
Here.
But we'll get the D-Wave.
I'm putting a note in the
Can
chat.
it hard boil an egg without water? That's what I want to know.
Well, the real question is,
That's not what you do that with.
Could it do things like break RSA
encryption and stuff?
Yes, it could break RSA encryption.
If it ever works.
No.
Right.
We're actually only a few years out, theoretically.
We've been a few years out for several decades. That's my issue with this.
That and the paperless office.
For a little while.
Yeah. It's been a few years off for a long time.
A few years.
For more than a few years. Google is facing an EU antitrust investigation over whether it may be similar problem, whether it may be forcing device makers to install Google Assistant as the default voice assistant on Android. This is just an investigation, though, that will keep you posted. There's always investigations going on in this kind of thing. Do you want to talk about Germany's sovereign cloud? I figure it's got the word Germany in it. It's a Jeff Jarvis story.
It was kind of a quick take mention that.
I thought it was a Stacy story because it said
Google.
cloud.
How are they going to do it? With Google.
I thought it was an ant story because it said sovereign.
Sovereign.
How are they going to do it?
Ant.
They're going to do it with
Google.
Actually, it's interesting because it was Microsoft and Satya Nadella who kept talking about sovereignty in his last speech at one of the Microsoft developer conferences, and I really took that as an indication that Microsoft was going to reach out to individual countries and say, "Look, we will provide you with servers. You can keep it all locally." This is something Microsoft fought for a long time.
But it's reality because so many countries
yeah.
actually put these laws into place.
Yeah. Big new undersea cable. Did you see I keep seeing this picture. It cracks me up of the Grace Hopper cable coming up on the land in the UK. It's a transatlantic cable. This seems kind of low tech when I look at this picture.
Yeah, how do they do the last mile to get the cable from the ship?
Apparently with a bulldozer.
Do they surf it in?
Don't overthink
it. They actually, so these used to be so insecure in the sense that literally they would end at these like little huts on the beach that like had a padlock on it, like a wooden hut with a padlock on the door. So they've upped the security, but even like a decade ago, you could visit some of these places and you'd be like, oh, look, there's the termination point for, an eighth of the internet's traffic coming from Europe. And you're like, there it is, just on a beach in New Jersey.
We're getting to that silly season, the phone season. We had an Apple event yesterday. Remember I talked last week that some rumors and maybe even that Google video tip that maybe Monday they would announce the Pixel 6. It did not happen. Probably it's going to be later next month. But they are starting to hype it up with the videos and so forth. In Japan, to promote the idea that the new Pixel 6 will have a Google-designed processor system on a chip, they're selling Google original chips in a googly salty flavor.
Oh, we need those. We need those. Come on, Google.
Send us some, Google.
Yeah. Leo got donuts. What you want? You can't give. You got a whole show about you. You can't give him the chips. Come on. Jeez.
Are they just salty chips? I don't really care if they're.
I'd like
just
some
plain
vinegar
chips.
too. Yeah, I agree. Well, Google, you can't do better than that. Just salt. Jeez.
Just salt.
I'm like,
I have to say, this year I'm going to skip the iPhone and buy the Pixel 6. Just give it a try. We'll see.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Well, the other thing, I bought an iPad mini, and I could use that as a phone if I get desperate. And I still have the old iPhone, so I'm probably really not.
Well, because there was basically nothing new, right?
There wasn't that much to get excited about. The cameras look pretty good, but you want to get it instead and take some pictures with it and do some stuff.
The Pro looked quite fascinating to me.
Yeah,
just from the camera standpoint. The rest of the OS, I am not an iOS fan.
Right.
I'm just not.
Right.
But what they did with their photography side of the stuff looks pretty daggone good.
I think it's got.
Now, granted, it's computational, like the focus pull and stuff. But I would still like to see that coupled with like Filmic Pro.
It has actual optical zoom, a total of 6x over the 3 lenses. They're very fast lenses now. The standard lens is 1.5.
Oh, 1.5.
That's pretty fast.
Yeah.
Very large pixels. I think 1.5 microns. So I think these are getting. What's interesting is for a long time you would have a real camera because of you could have zoom lenses, multiple focal lengths. You could control aperture. You had a lot more control over it. You had macro. Now all of that stuff's being put in a phone.
Yeah.
So
the macro is what got me.
Yeah.
To be able to put your device that close to your subject, to be able to get that 1-to-1.
2 centimeters.
Oh man,
2 centimeter focal length.
I want to see that because if I want to do macro, I have to put these extension tubes on my camera to get close and get that.
Okay, I guess I'll buy it.
Yeah.
You talked me into it. That was easy.
And we won. All right.
Okay. Never
I
mind.
know this is This Week at Google, but that did fascinate me in their announcement the other day.
I want to try some close-up pictures.
Wait, what is Kenta flavoring?
I think these are for the Japanese market. I don't know what that is.
Oh, Kenta is a peach-flavored powder drink from fermented Japanese soy.
So it isn't just salt. It's salts and peaches.
Oh, Google, just stick with the salt, please.
Really?
Or just keep it.
I should go get them. Lisa, somebody sent Lisa. This is like sent us food week. I don't know. Somebody sent Lisa some Pokemon flavored Oreos. What the hell
Pokemon flavor?
What the hell flavor would that be?
Yeah. This is what happens.
Oh, it tastes
when
like
you're
Pikachu,
loved, sir.
Pokemon flavored Oreos. Come on. Let's do the Google,
thing.
You know, the thing.
The Google changelog.
It's T-minus 1 hour and counting. We're getting closer to the Inspiration 4 launch window. And I should say window because it doesn't have to launch exactly at that time.
Yeah.
It may not, but the launch window is exactly 1 hour away. In the Google changelog, Google is hosting the Search On 2021 keynote later this month. Every answer leads to a new question. Wednesday, September 29th, 10 a.m. Pacific. Maybe we should do a live stream. I don't know. What do you think? In the past, we haven't covered these because but maybe
just silence.
No, I don't know. All right, I'll think about it. I'll table that for now. Hands-on from Android Police with the Google Assistant driving mode's long-awaited new home screen.
Because they're getting rid of the
Android Auto app. Still have Android Auto, which I have to say I'm not as fond of as Apple's CarPlay. Here's the new UI. Yeah, CarPlay's much not. Well, what do you use, Jeff? You of course, you use Android Auto.
You need to ask.
What's this show called?
Yeah.
Well, I just use whatever I like. And I like CarPlay. So there it is. I don't know. The assistant driving mode. So this, I guess, is the idea is it replaces that Android Auto app.
Well, it replaces it on the phone.
Yeah. You still have Android. That's what's confusing. You still have Android Auto on your car screen. So how do you get to this?
Use that? I don't know.
Well, people who don't have Android Auto, right? If you have a car that doesn't have, it's not a fancy car like Jeff's, you have.
Or it's like a Tesla.
Or it's a I feel bad for Tesla people. Oh, you're one of those, aren't you, Stacy? Do you put my foot in my mouth everywhere I go? Do you really like the media interface for the Teslas? I feel like I wish they had CarPlay or Android Auto.
I don't love it, but I don't.
To me, that's a big negative.
Spend that much time in it.
Yeah,
but she doesn't have the car for that. For the media,
I have the car because it's fun to drive.
It is fun to drive,
and I also have. Usually there's someone in the front seat with me, and I just work from my phone. I usually play Spotify. Although
it supports Bluetooth, so you can
Tesla. Yeah, and Tesla actually supports Spotify now, so it's a little bit better.
The one reason it's a little issue. One of my friends sent me a note saying I quit Club Twit. I said, "Oh, why?" He said, "Because it's not supported by Tesla." I said, "Well, you can do it on your phone." He says, "No, it's too much trouble. You got to do a deal with TuneIn or something so that I can hear it." And it's like, well, it doesn't work that way. You got to have your own private feed. So I don't know.
Hey, you can have easy to use and convenient and not, and ad supported, or you can pay for things.
It's a little weird that Elon is so not invented here that he won't allow CarPlay and Android Auto.
It is a little weird.
Exactly what I expect of him.
Yeah. I mean, the reason is that those are getting updated faster even than a Tesla is, and they have more features and more apps, and I don't know. Yeah, okay, so you could play Quake.
Control freak concerns
So
or something?
I will tell you, I love the Tesla's games, and because we're sometimes waiting for a ferry, and sometimes you get there and you're like, you missed it, and so you're there for an hour.
Stacy?
Or like 45 minutes.
There's no such thing as ferries. You're going to be waiting a really long time.
Everybody clap their hands. hands.
We're waiting for a ferry, everybody. Google Photos will now ship individual prints directly to your door. Woo!
Okay.
Don't they do that already? They advertise that all the time.
I don't understand. Now you can order prints of specific photographs and getting shipped to homes in the U.S. for as little as 18 cents plus shipping.
Instead of a
book. Okay. So, because they sell you books, that actually might be fun.
Oh, maybe they didn't sell prints. They didn't sell prints. So this is like instead of going to Costco, you just get a print.
Right.
Instead of the book, you get singles.
What it costs, like the big box stores are like 11 cents a print, right? So this is a little pricey, but I bet they're good quality. If you can't wait, you can also get your photos printed for same-day pickup from your local CVS, Walgreens, or Walmart in the U.S. or 7-Eleven in Japan, because they sell everything.
Everything.
4x6, 5x7, or 8x10 prints in the U.S., 3.5x5 in Japan. They also do canvas prints. And, of course, they still do
I actually have
books.
ordered a canvas print from Google Photos, and it turned out really well.
I love them. We've been printing on metal and glass as well as canvas.
Oh, metal.
Yeah, I did one on metal.
If it's the right photo.
Contrast,
Yeah. Has to
Need
be
some
the right
contrast for a metal
Has
print.
to be the right photo. But it really, if you've got the right photo, we've got some beautiful metal photos. And which is nice because when they get knocked off the wall, they don't break. It's clank. What the hell was that? Oh, the photos. No. This must be Jeff. This must be Jeff. No.
He was rejoicing.
Dark mode. I keep getting this notification that I can get dark mode on desktop.
Why?
Because it hurts my eyes.
Oh, it does not.
Let me see if they
there's a reason to do it. If you do dark mode, like right now, if I switch to a light thing, suddenly my face is like super bright, right?
Yeah.
And now it's
You have a nice feel light.
Jeff keeps asking why he's pink.
Don't play to my ego, to my vanity.
Jeff. Come on.
I'm pink anyway. What does it matter?
Look how nice that Google search looks with all the dark mode behind it. Look.
Ooh, that really makes the label or the animation pop.
The Google Doodle just really sing, doesn't it?
Doodle. That's what it is.
Celebrating Dr. Hidalgo Maria Rode. But what did she do? She was a Panamanian nurse, academic, and organizational administrator who founded the National Association of Hispanic Nurses in 1975.
Looks like Kardashian at the Met Gala.
What?
Was she dressed as a nurse?
Who was it who wore all black? The whole black face.
That was
dark
Kim
mode.
Kardashian.
She's still.
Oh, you're on
it was
dark mode.
Kardashian.
Still
Yeah,
in dark mode.
I thought. Well, no, we were confused because we were talking about the Panamanian nurse organizer. We were like, "What? She's not. What?"
He's living in the past.
Please go meet
yet
with Mr.
another
Newmark.
way to do a newsletter, this time with Google's Area 120, their research arm. They call it a Muse-letter, and it takes your Google Docs, sheets, and slides and puts them into paid newsletters. Maybe you should do this.
I'll check that out.
Yeah.
I already read everything in Google Docs.
Muse-letter. Now,
Okay.
you have to apply because it's it's request early
let me in.
access. Publish. Here's the example of what it looks like. Publish with newsletter, public profile for your content. Features.
Can I just pay, or do they want a cut of my ads?
Offer paid subscriptions to your
only.
content. Well, you don't do paid though. You do ad supported, don't you?
No.
Yeah. Can I bring in my email audience? Can I get paid for my writing? You can offer paid subscriptions. Doesn't sound like that. They must have Google Ads in it, right? What's the point of doing it if you don't have Google Ads? I love it, though, that it works with, you could publish any Drive file as a blogger and newsletter.
That's awesome.
That would say, you could do all the layout in
Yeah, that saves a lot of cut and paste.
yeah. Uh-huh. You know what? I might request early access for that. Let me request early access. See if I can get it. Google now asks you to join the Pixel Superfans with a simple sign-up form, calling all Pixel Superfans. Insider access, a VIP experience. Maybe I should sign up for this, given I know I'm going to be buying.
Well, so I didn't realize I already am one. Supposedly, it's official. I forgot I did this. So then I said, enter the community. So I clicked enter the community. Where does it take me? Do you know where it takes you?
Where?
Facebook.
Oh, that's bad.
Ew.
Ooh.
I can't believe I signed up for that. Oh, I should have waited.
Well, apparently I can't because you have to get an invitation to participate from Google.
No, you just click on that link, Leo.
What link?
Yeah, that's the whole point of the story is that now anybody can do it.
Oh, that's what's changed. They've had it before, but now you can say, I want to. Got it. Let's go to the super fans forum. What do they want to know? First name, Leo. Last name, Leo. Email address, Leo. It's easy. Thank you. Some legal stuff to submit.
Leo.
Why do they ask my email address? They already know my Gmail address, but I don't use that, so I gave them a different one. Thank you for letting us know you're a Pixel super fan. That's it. That's all I get.
Okay, so now you got to.
And I didn't get an email yet or anything.
So I got to wait for an email.
Go to the email. Assuming you're going to get it.
I didn't get an email yet.
You think it'll be that
And
quick?
this took you to Facebook?
Because I signed up
earlier
on in
whether
the
I'm
show.
a government official, member of the press, or an Alphabet LLC or Google LLC.
Oh, I'm all of the above.
I'm going to lie.
You're a government official?
Yeah, I'm the president of Club Twit.
Oh. Is that your new libertarian seasteading operation?
Yes, we're gonna
Your $7 gets you into
I can buy a little. Google One has added a new tier for people who really need a lot of storage. This would be for you, Ant. 5 terabytes. Only $25 a month. Actually, that's not a bad price.
That's not bad.
Wow.
Not bad.
So it's $1.99 for 100 gigabytes, $2.99 for 200 gigabytes. I do the $10 a month 2 terabyte plan.
That's what I do.
Which is a lot.
So you're gonna.
I don't really need. Oh, there's an. So now
More
you can even go.
terabytes.
How would you like? I just want more terabytes. 10 terabytes. How would you like that? $50 a month. So there's 5 terabytes is actually the new one. In between the 2 and the 10, $25 a month, which makes sense. It's kind of linear. I think that has something to do with the fact that Google Photos is now using your storage up a little bit.
Mm-hmm. They knew all along.
Yeah. And that's, the Google changelog. This Week in Google is brought to you by Wealthfront. Oh, man, I love Wealthfront. And I want to tell everybody to do this. I hear so many people saying, "Oh yeah, Diamond Hand's I'm gonna cash in big on stock X." It's almost impossible for you to beat the market. I just want to tell you that only 1% of day traders actually beat the market. Day trading's fun. I'm not saying if you feel like so is blackjack, so is craps, so is roulette. But that's basically it. It's gambling. If you want to grow your long-term wealth and make it to the moon, don't ride that stonk meme rocket ship. Open a Wealthfront investment account today. Yeah, it's boring in a good way. In a good way. Wealthfront can make it all simple. First thing they'll do, get to know your goals, your risk tolerance, what you're trying to build wealth for, whether it's retirement, college fund, buying a house, buying a car. Wealthfront has the right tools for every portfolio. With Wealthfront, you're going to create a portfolio of globally diversified, low cost is important, index funds, and they're personalized for exactly your style in minutes. There's zero manual trading. There's zero stock picking. I know, boring, right? No watching the stock market every day. They just handle all the investing based on the preferences you control. But they're doing, behind the scenes, they're doing really smart stuff like tax loss harvesting, which helps you lower the taxes you pay as you invest. This is something that, advanced investors know how to do. It's done automatically with Wealthfront. And in fact, it can be effective enough to cover the entire cost of Wealthfront. Wealthfront's fee is very, very low. 25 basis points, 0.25%. That's it. That's all it ever is. So you don't pay by trade. You don't pay based on what you made or anything like that. It's just 0.25% on your holdings. And people love Wealthfront. Boring is good when you're investing. Trust me, I've had enough of excitement. Wealthfront is trusted with over $20 billion of assets. And here's a nice thing. You can get your first $5,000 managed for free by going to wealthfront.com/twig. If you want to build wealth over the long haul, the magic of compounding and the magic of staying the course with Wealthfront is going to make the difference. All you need is $500 to get started. Grow your wealth the easy way. Let Wealthfront do the work for you. I have to say, somebody told me this when I was young. They said, take advantage of that 401k now. It doesn't matter how much you put away, but just start putting a little away and don't mess with it. Go to Wealthfront. They didn't have Wealthfront in my day, but if they had, that's what I told my kids. Go to Wealthfront, put that money in, and it will grow. To me, this is the right way to do it. $500 gets you started. Your first $5,000 will be managed free for life. Wealthfront.com/twig. We talk about Kevin Rose and how he's the NFT guy and Bitcoins and all this stuff. And he was on Twitter when we were doing a Wealthfront ad a couple of weeks ago. He said, yeah, I invested in them. That's really good. I said, oh, you talk this big game and all these crazy cryptocurrencies and stuff. When it comes down to protecting your family and investing right, he said, yeah, Wealthfront. Wealthfront.com/twig, TWIG. So it's WEALTHFRONT.com/twig. So I know we sometimes say other codes for this particular advertiser. Please use /twig so they know you saw it here. And by the way, you'll get that first $5,000 managed free for life. Wealthfront. Go to wealthfront.com/twig and start growing your savings today. That's the best financial advice I can give anybody. Wealthfront. I think it's time for our picks of the week. 42 minutes to launch. It's getting dark at Cape Canaveral on pad 39A. And as you can see, I think we're on schedule because is that movement? Yeah. The gantry the arm is moving away, which means the rocket is standing on its own. So they are on schedule for a launch at about 8 p.m. Eastern time. Look at that. Very exciting. Stacy Higginbotham.
All right. I can't show this to you because I don't own one.
Just talk about it.
This is also a little bit promotional because this is my guest for tomorrow on the show.
Oh.
But I don't care because it's amazing. He's one of my favorite people ever. So this is called Lucy. This is a company in Colorado. They built an add-on to a power wheelchair. And so what you may not realize about power wheelchairs is they cost like $80,000 and they're dumb as a rock.
Are you kidding? Oh my God.
They're basically a battery, a joystick, the chair, and a seatbelt.
That costs more than my Mach-E.
Yeah, they're super expensive. And
That's
they're
shocking.
also a huge risk for people. They like a 2.5-inch height differential can actually just tip them over because they're very top heavy.
The other day, Lisa was walking around to the bank and a guy had a motorized wheelchair, was going up an incline, got turned sideways slightly, fell off. She helped him. He was okay. He helped him back in. And his sister was across the street. She came running over and said, thank you. I told him, don't leave the house without me. Yeah, you're right. It's easy. This wasn't much of an incline, but it's very easy to tip
10% grade. That's totally crazy. So these guys, this guy, his niece is in a power wheelchair. And so they built Lucy, which it's $8,000, but they combine a stereo camera, ultrasonic sensors, and millimeter wave radar.
Is this a smart wheelchair?
It's an accessory. So you just strap this on your wheelchair and then, so they're showing you the pieces, and then it actually can detect when it should stop. So just like your Roomba stops when it sees like a stair.
Nice.
And the interview was so great because he talks about like how difficult it was to like find these sensors. So if you're super nerdy and engineering, like it's pretty cool. But the other thing that I love about this is they've also added radios to it. So they're hoping to communicate with like smart city efforts or something like Google Maps. So they can actually, this would be so cool. It'd be like Street View for anybody who's in a wheelchair, because it's really hard to get that data. So they want to like, so I'm telling everybody, if you're at Google and you watch this, like Google's already asking me like, hey, is this restaurant, does it have a wheelchair ramp? And I'm like, you could just get this automatically from this company. Yeah. So I'm really excited about it.
And you're going to interview the founder tomorrow on the IoT show?
Yeah. He's my guest tomorrow on the IoT podcast.
So the luci.com if you want to know more. And then you've got to listen to well, you should be listening anyway, but the IoT podcast tomorrow. Oh, this is so cool.
This is awesome.
But yeah, it's a really cool, and they've been working on this since 2017. It launched February of this year. It's like, I'm going to get all emotional for a second. I love the IT because it makes the invisible visible. And there's no one more invisible than people in wheelchairs. And by taking data from something like this and sharing this, you give so much power to them. And
I hope he does well. This is so great. This is such a good idea. It's not about,
that's my thing.
It's not an autonomous wheelchair, but it helps.
It's not autonomous. Yeah. It's just,
it makes it smart.
It stops before it runs into things. It even stops before it runs into people.
And had that guy had this, he wouldn't have fallen over.
Yeah, and it's actually a really common problem. They said since they launched, they've saved 10,000 falls so far. Oh my gosh. Which is a lot. Wow. And if you think about it, a lot of people who are quadriplegic are in these. So when they fall, they can't do anything.
Yeah, it's a serious problem. Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's great. Using Intel RealSense technology. That's really interesting. Neat. Thank you. Boy, that's really inspiring. Mr. Jeff Jarvis, do you have a number?
I have a few. One, I want to mention Andy Slavitt.
Why do I know that name?
He's been our COVID czar.
Oh, yes, of course. Government.
So I think this is an important number for us all to know. We are now at 12 billion doses in arms are required to get the majority of adults vaccinated. We stand at 5.5 billion, averaging 1 billion a month. And he emphasizes that it's not about money and it's not about even manufacturing. It's about last mile distribution.
Interesting. So the vaccines exist, and
they're being made.
Is it? So it's not merely vaccine reluctance.
Well, that's in this country. That's the problem. Yes.
Oh, okay.
We are now.
This is majority of adults in the world.
World. Yeah.
Oh, of course it is. Yeah.
Yeah, so we were the obviously leading country. We had the vaccines, we have the money, everything was great, we had all the structure, and now we're following way behind other countries, and they're getting way ahead of us. So that's one. Two, look what I got.
He got the Google Pods.
I got them after having gone through torture.
Why?
With the others. Why? Because my other ones broke. They just weren't working.
Oh, no.
These are $99. And
are these the Google Pod 2s?
Yeah, these are the new ones. You can't even get the old ones now.
Yeah.
And so the only thing I'm finding about it is that if my phone has to be in my right front pocket.
Really? No.
Not your left front pocket, your right front pocket?
Do you have a metal hip?
Yes,
I don't know what it is.
He's got a plate for sure.
He's got a plate in my head.
Oh, man. All right.
Wait a minute. So it's like you couldn't be in your coat pocket or?
Well, I don't wear it. It's hot. It's hot now. I don't have a coat on.
So the only pocket you have is your right front pocket. You haven't tried other pockets.
I put it in my left rear pocket. I put it in my right rear pocket. I put it in my left front pocket. It had to be in my right front pocket. Okay. And then it doesn't cut out.
Okay.
I would have just gone with the Jabra Elite, sir.
I had those and they broke on me. And this is,
these are a lot less expensive. They're only $99.
Better sound.
And they sound great.
$99. They're more comfortable. They're better sound.
Yeah.
And
meanwhile, I want you to play a video.
But they don't work as well. Right.
What I feel like going back to work. Line 142.
Back to the office with Jeff Jarvis. Many adults are going back to the office for the first time. Come on, you'll see your friends again. Luke, Rita, Mark. No. Oh, look, there's Steve from accounting. He's being dragged by his kindergartner as well. You got your lunchbox? Yes. Have a cookie. Hey there, Frank. What do we say? Say hi to the miss. Hi, miss. He's a little bit nervous. I'm a little nervous too. But we're going to have fun today. We're going to draw spreadsheets, have meetings about quarterly results. I have to run, by the way. We have arts and crafts today. Can't be late. Fair enough. Say, who wants a cup of coffee? Come on. Come on, Frank. You can do it. Going back to work. It's not easy, but we all have to do it. Bye, Frank.
Oh, man.
Hey, she'll be back later. And all the kids are waiting out front for their parents. How was it? Super cool. Look, I got to take meeting notes. Wow, did you write that? Yep. Steve had a little accident. Look. Because you've been so brave, we'll have spaghetti for dinner. Cacio e pepe, and watch the news. Yes, what's on? Mia Dornat. Oh, I don't know what that is. Run.
I don't know what language
This is dangerous.
Oh, man.
Dangerous? He's in dangerous. DIW. I don't know who that is.
Oh, dude
Good.
had an accident, huh?
Yeah, he's walking home in his underpants. This happens. It happens. You haven't been...
He didn't bring his spare set of clothing.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Put it in your locker, in your cubby.
That was good.
That's cute.
That was cute.
Mr. Ant Pruitt, what do you got for us?
First off, I want to say the photography workshop that I am teaching at has been rescheduled because it was going to be held in New Orleans.
Oh,
and we all
I guess
know what just recently happened in New Orleans.
Right. Yes.
So we were concerned about it being totally canceled, but it has not been canceled. It has been rescheduled to January, I believe it's the 23rd is when it kicks off.
I'm feeling better for you. I think that's a good thing, Ant.
January 23rd. Thank you.
I know it's awful, but I think you're going to be safer.
You'll have fun.
Yeah. So if you're interested in checking out the workshop, go to wanderersphoto.com and go register, and we'll see you in New Orleans in January. But my other pick is Dry Bar. I don't know if y'all have ever heard of it, but YouTube,
The hair drying place?
YouTube has the best algorithm. It recommends comedy stand-up all the time to me because that's what I like to watch. And there's this place in Utah, I believe it's Salt Lake, and it's called Dry Bar, and it's just a bunch of stand-up comedians, and I think it's highly underrated. And they had Greg Morton on one of their episodes. He's a former NFL player, former voiceover artist, and he's like 67 years old now, and he's just doing comedy.
That's awesome.
And he's pretty daggum funny. So that's Dry Bar on YouTube, but it's a lot of different comedians.
You also go to drybar.comedy.com. And guess why it's dry? Because it's in Salt Lake City.
It's in Salt Lake City.
So you can't even have a cup of coffee, so enjoy.
So right now I'd like to come out of my shell a little bit, and I'd like to act out a movie. Now this will be 2.5 hours long, so some of you are still taking this seriously. That's not going to work out.
I love this guy. He was on, what is it, America's Got Talent, I believe?
He's cute. He's got a lot of faces.
Yeah, he does a lot of facial expressions. I think it was America's Got Talent.
They say he's a living cartoon character.
Yeah. He did a lot of the Star Wars voices, a lot
neat.
of the comic book stuff. Boy,
it's funny. You wouldn't think after, it seems mostly if you've been in the NFL that there's not a lot of second careers, right?
Right. Exactly.
If you make
Insurance salesman.
Yeah, car salesman or television commentator. Here's one of his, let's do a cartoon character here.
I was an only child. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I started out as a baby. I actually used to do voiceovers for animated cartoons.
He's got a good voice. Yeah.
Please say, thanks for the sour persimmon buster.
Hey, friend. Like, wow, Scoob. Yeah. Son, you're fired. Exit stage left. Right in the hole. Hi, diddly-dee. I was an only child.
Okay. I think we get the.
He's so good.
Get the idea.
He's so good.
And you had one more.
YouTube.
You had one more.
One more.
Yes.
Since we were talking about fashion, this made me think about, again, Saturday was football Saturday, and it's a quite interesting day. I got the recommendation about the docuseries, and then later on, my niece.
Oh, you have a girl for the first time.
Yeah,
you're not used to this, are you? You had two boys.
I affectionately call her little weirdo because she embraces that, and I love her. But while I'm down on the couch watching Southern Cal get the heck beat out of them by Stanford, she just sort of walks in and just decides to have this conversation with me. And she's asking this question. She says, hey, should I get brown or black wedges for my dress? And I'm like, well, why are you wedging a dress? And what the heck is a wedge? And she says, it's a shoe.
Poor Ann.
She says, or should I get a high top? And I'm like, why are you going to wear sneakers with a dress? And she's like, no, they're high heels. And then at that point, I just yelled for help.
Where's
upstairs.
Queen Pruitt? Get Queen Pruitt in here now.
Why are you asking me this stuff?
Oh, poor Aunt. He's never had girls.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
But
how old is she?
She's ninth grade. I don't know how old that is, but that's ninth grade. She's a freshman.
Okay.
14 or 15.
Yeah, you're gonna have a lot of fun the next 4 years.
She's doing quite well. I love her, and I'm happy for her. She's having fun at school and having fun on the volleyball court and everything.
We saw the volleyball.
To me.
Yeah, she's still doing that. That's good. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Aunt Pruitt, hands
a
up.
little bit of not breaking news.
Yes.
Just a moment here. I just saw this. It says 7 hours ago, but I didn't see it. Did you see with the Ryan Lizza, Devin Nunes suit?
No.
So the Eighth Circuit. So Devin Nunes filed a.
Is this about his cow again?
Yes, for a story that the judge ruled that this original story in GQ was not defamatory. However, after Nunes sued, Lizza tweeted to the original story, and the court said that was defamatory and actionable. This makes no sense.
What?
But that constituted a republication of something that he had been put on notice that the person thought it was defamatory, and so that's what happened. This craziness is going on. Have you heard about Pimmelgate?
No.
So in Hamburg, a person tweeted at a politician calling him a pimmel, which is a way to say, somewhat politely, dick. And so police...
That's good. I'm going to remember. Pimmel is polite for dick. I'm going to use that.
Pimmel?
You pimmel? You pimmel?
Do pimmel? Do pimmel. Do
pimmel.
You dick. Do pimmel.
Do pimmel.
Do pimmel.
Do pimmel. Yeah. So the police searched the place where they thought this person lived. In fact, they didn't live there, went elsewhere. And so, and it's against the law in Germany to insult a politician. This is getting to be insane.
Oh, that's crazy.
This is insane.
That's crazy. But I don't. This is where was the judge? This is the
Eighth Circuit. Where
Eighth Circuit? Oh my God! This is the. And
I tweeted a whole bunch of links to it.
Because why would something that's not defamatory in a newspaper be suddenly defamatory because it's in a tweet?
I know.
That's really interesting. Well, I'd like to see the doctrine there.
Yeah. So I just thought that would be of interest to our little audience as we say farewell for another week.
So folks, just as a point of order, if you feel like a news article is insulting or defamatory, don't sue the newspaper. Wait till they tweet it. Then you got them.
Which, of course, they rarely do.
And no one's half the battle.
That's a crazy doctrine. I'd like to know more about that. Well, we'll read more of that. We'll talk about it next week. Hant Pruitt.
Not quite.
So close.
What is on hands-on photography these days?
This week, we're going to do some feedback. I've gotten a particular question that comes up over and over and over again, and we're going to share it. I'm not going to talk about it right here. Just go subscribe to twit.tv/hop. And we'll see you on Thursday.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Mr. Jeff Jarvis, he is the Leonard Tao Professor for Journalistic Innovation at the Craig Newmark Graduate School of
TikTok thing. We gotta figure out how to do that. I'm the Craig. I'm the Craig. I'm the Craig. Craig. I'm the Newmark. I'm the Newmark. I'm the Newmark.
Graduate School of Journalism at the City University of New York. Buzzmachine.com. That's where his blog is. New York. At Jeff Jarvis on Twitter. Stacey Higginbotham tomorrow. Don't forget, you got to listen to the IoT show. That'll be a really interesting interview. She's also got a newsletter at stacyoniot.com and an upcoming learn all about RF something.
RF sensing. It's actually the sort of thing that's used on that wheelchair. I was so excited. I was like, oh, synergies.
Nice. stacyoniot.com. Subscribe. It's free to the newsletter. We do Twig every Wednesday afternoon. You know, Wednesday's Prince Spaghetti Day.
What?
I got some very nice, whatchamacallit, bucatini for you. Oh, boy.
Is it in there? It's in there.
It's in there.
It's in there.
Lisa's going to make bolognese for this bucatini. Thank you, Marco. We do this show every Tuesday, 2 o'clock Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2100 UTC. You can watch us do it live at twit.tv/live. That's the live stream. You can also chat live while you're watching. There's a great group of chatters at irc.twit.tv. We also, of course, have a Discord chat room where Ant is the master and commander. That's in our Club Twit. That's going to be your title, Club Twit Master and Commander, Ant Pruitt. If you want to join Club Twit, you get ad-free versions of all of our shows. You get access to this great Discord channel where there's lots of fun stuff going on. And, of course, the Twit Plus feed with stuff that didn't make it to the podcast. And all of that is $7 a month. You could find out more at twit.tv/club twit. We're signing up. You know, I'm pretty sure we're going to have a cruise because it's a year from now, July 2022. By then, we can go to Alaska. I'm sure. You can go to Alaska now. So I think it'll be fun.
Alaska's a different planet, right?
Yeah. It's safe. If you want to know more about our Twit cruise, it's going to be a lot of fun. Paul Thrott from Windows Weekly and his wife will join Lisa and me on the beautiful Holland America Eurodam. More information, go to cruise.twit.tv. It's filling up fast. Get it. It's one of those things about cruises you got to book way ahead of time. I know it feels early to talk about next summer, but it's going to be a lot of fun and some really fun excursions. Cruise.twit.tv. On-demand versions of our show available at the website, twit.tv/twig. While you're there, you can also see a link to our YouTube channel and to a bunch of different podcast clients. There is an RSS feed there as well, so you can paste it into any podcast client. And that way you get it automatically the minute it's available every week. If you have a podcast client with review capability, please leave a 5-star review for the show. Tell the world about this crazy gang we call Club Twig. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Have a great week. We'll see you next time on This Week in Google. Bye-bye.
Android is constantly evolving, and if you're part of the Android faithful, then you'll be just as excited about it as I am. I'm Jason Howell, host of All About Android, along with my co-hosts Florence Ion and Ron Richards, where every week we cover the news, we cover the hardware, and we cover the apps that are driving the Android ecosystem. Plus, we invite people who are writing about Android, talking about Android, and making Android onto the show. Every Tuesday at twit.tv, look for All About Android.